Ah, yep, got my Toretto top
Dogs right there, more importantly.
on. Yep,
Welcome to the
got the.
afternoon tune. I am your host Chase, and I also forgot to inform you guys that we were starting. But yeah, we're streaming on Twitch now. um, but yeah, so with me I have my co-host
It's your boy Nick, and it's his dog Bubbles.
Nick
Oh,
Toretto, the third son of the Toretto family. And then with us is our special guest, Hunter. Introduce yourself.
oh, hello everyone. Hello internet. How's it going?
And as you can tell, we're all
Hello,
literally
Twitch.
just cosplaying as Dominic Toretto at this point. We all got our tank tops
Yeah,
on.
the strange thing, we did not plan this.
I
This
just
was
felt
unplanned.
honestly, when I was going to the theater and I was deciding on what to wear, I was just like, it's hot. I'm watching Fast and Furious. I'm wearing a tank top. It just is what it is. It just works. It's natural. There are no
Yeah,
coincidences.
it's summertime here. It's summertime here in Japan, and that humidity's a motherfucker.
But yeah, so we if you couldn't tell, we watched Fast and Furious, a good chunk of the series, and then also 9. I
I
although I
didn't.
think
I did
yeah,
not see 9.
yeah, Hunter did
Yes,
not see 9. So
yes.
we're gonna like tiptoe around the actual story, which is very
Thank
easy to
you.
do. Which is surprisingly very
I
easy
mean,
to do.
come on. I mean, come on. What story could they possibly fucking do that we could spoil? I mean,
I
unless
mean,
they actually did meet the Transformers, I don't think that's gonna happen.
like it's in terms of just like certain like maybe solutions that they find. I think it's
Mm,
better to experience that without even knowing what you're watching. Cause like
okay.
there's some crazy stuff in here like that's not in the trailer. Um, so maybe we won't spoil that stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
don't leave it as cold as possible. I'm seeing it tomorrow at 4 p.m. I'm horribly excited to talk about it, but yeah, haven't had a
All
chance to see
right.
it yet.
oh, it's nuts. But to
Yeah,
think
Bubbles didn't
that
see it either.
Bubbles, Bubbles didn't see it. We have to cut
Yeah,
the show. We
Bubbles
have
didn't
to.
see it.
We might have to.
It's
We
like,
might have to delay
the
the
fuck?
show, maybe for tomorrow then.
Like, the fuck?
But to think that this movie series started off with DVD players
20,
and street
20
racing.
fucking years ago. Yeah, from the week, 20
Yeah.
goddamn years ago. Fucking Paul Walker and Vin Diesel fucking just drove onto our screens and into our hearts.
You know what's crazy? You know what's really crazy to me?
Went to a fucking new metal soundtrack and Limp Bizkit's rolling. I looked up the soundtrack. That is actually on there.
You
it
know
And
what's
is,
speaking
yeah.
of stuff that hasn't aged the best,
hmm,
the new metal soundtrack hasn't aged great.
you got a point. But and also
And
some of
also,
the
Limp Bizkit on any soundtrack is unforgivable.
Whoa,
but
whoa,
it was
whoa.
the
I mean, let's
early
just like
2000s. It was the early 2000s. You
The
captured
only
the
time it
era.
was okay for the only time it was okay for Limp Bizkit to be on a soundtrack was
Hmm.
2 years ago with The Fanatic, because that was Fred Durst directing
oh
it.
crap. Oh, okay. So first off, the fanatic is fucking terrible. Number one. Number two,
It is
cho-
terrible,
cho-
but it's fucking hilarious.
chocolate starfish in the hot dog flavor water still slaps. Thank you very much. That rolling remix is wonderful. Okay. However, yes, Limp Bizkit now is really the after that blue after that behind blue eyes cover, it was a fucking rap. Like they should have just
Oh
stopped right
god.
there.
I mean, it's always been
I
bad,
mean,
but
it wasn't as bad as what was that band Stained?
Oh,
I
Stain,
think they did a
yeah.
cover of like Puddle of Mud. That was the band. They did a cover of
Oh
About a
yeah.
Girl. And I'm pretty sure we watched his vocal cords explode.
damn.
So are you saying things are blurry? Is that what you're?
Yes, everything's so blurry.
Very, very blurry.
But yes, amazing that a franchise whose first film was essentially just a ripoff of Point Break with cars, and
Yep.
I double featured Point Break with the first Fast and Furious. They are the exact same goddamn movie.
Yes, they
Even
are.
down to them stopping at this like iconic like shrimp place that's in LA on the cliffs. They'd stop at the exact same place.
Hmm.
It's insane, but what makes that film as good as it is one that I was shocked to find out Vin Diesel actually had charisma at one point in his career.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Dude, early Dom is like the goat. He's got like all the
Early
women
Dom
around him.
was
He's like actually like you could see that there was an actual charm to this guy because he's like cracking jokes and
yeah,
quipping and whatnot. That's quipping with
you could see
emotion
why Brian
because he does still
you
quip
could
in,
see why
in
Brian he does later on and as the series goes on, but he's more like stoic badass,
yeah,
which is not the same character that he was in the first film.
yeah.
no.
He has an actual range to him, and actual character.
And you can see why Brian O'Connor, aka the worst undercover cop ever,
Yeah.
would like fall in love with this man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm sure there have been worse. I'm sure there have been worse. Didn't Jim Belushi play a cop at some point? Like K9, isn't he undercover? So I mean, by default, he's worse. So,
I mean, you got a point there.
just saying.
But
And
yeah.
again, it's amazing that they went from stealing not just DVD players, but DVD VCR combos.
Which, okay, so quick on that. That was the first TV I ever had in my room when I was 15. Hooked that up to my old
Me
Nintendo
too.
64. Yeah, that was my.
Me
I
too,
saw
that was
those.
my
Like,
first TV.
I saw that. I just started
That
laughing.
brings back. I was like, oh, that brings back memories.
Right. It's so good.
And like the stunts in this movie weren't even like out there yet. Like, yeah, there's some stuff here and there that could like be debatably fantasy, like them pulling up with grappling hooks for some reason. Instead of, just like
I would say that, but if that scene happened in a later movie, they would have gotten out of scratch, but nah, the final chase at the end is so tense, and
Yeah.
dude gets fucked up in that movie.
Yes,
Oh,
he
His arm
does.
is mangled. They had to re-edit it. They had to re-edit that scene to avoid it being a rated R film just because of how mangled Vince's arm is at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Shout out to
Speaking of Vince and stuff that hasn't aged well,
yeah.
Fuck
he
Vince.
uses the other F word multiple times directed at Paul Walker.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, so okay. So that's not a word you should be using anyway, but it would be different if Paul Walker was like sucking a dude off in the kitchen and he was like, hey, like that would be like, you could at least go, well, all right, you were sucking dick in like a common area of the house, but he's sucking me with the dishes and he's like, oh, why don't I get you a dress? And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? He's being helpful. Why are you?
I mean,
Dude,
that
was
Vince is such an asshole, but he's also never wrong.
That was
He's a cop.
Not in the first movie. In the first movie, he is not. Yes, because yeah, you're right. He keeps going. He's a cop. He's a fucking cop. And Dom is like, well, no, he's not. I trust him. Fuck you. And but
come on, look how pretty that motherfucker is. He can't be a
right.
cop.
I know they don't make cops that pretty.
True. He doesn't look like he eats donuts.
Yeah, right. But right. But what I appreciate though about Brian is that for him being cop and everything, he does save Dom's ass when
Yeah.
everyone else just pieces out and goes,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're saving our own asses." It's like, well, that's a really fucked up move to leave your family behind like that. But
And that was probably the
Hey, they
smartest thing
hadn't
he could
figured
have
out
done in
what
that
this.
film.
Hey, just by the first 3 movies, they hadn't figured out that that was going to be the selling point of this franchise.
true.
And
The
also,
theme.
I wonder how much of that was intentional.
Hmm.
How much did okay, Brian lost the race, so all right, I got an idea. I'm gonna fucking like call the cops on all of you, all
Hmm.
like a sore loser he is, and then like finesse it so yeah, I'm the guy that ends up saving Dom from getting locked up.
But I think that's just like I mean, for him at least, that was just a smart way to play the
Mm.
game.
Yeah.
Like in Among Us, how the imposter would do it, he'd like marinate people. That's kind of just what he was doing. He was marinating Dom the whole time, getting on the sweet side, you know, trying to get with Mia, try to figure out what was going on. Like that was probably the most logical Brian has been in these movies.
Yeah.
And
So
definitely the smartest Brian has ever been in these movies.
Yeah, by far.
Realistically,
so
humanly smart.
uh,
so I went through and I have rewatched every single Fast and Furious film over the
hmm.
last 2 weeks. Um,
Mm.
and I will say the biggest surprise to me about rewatching them is how much I really enjoy all of them outside of Tokyo Drift. That's like the one
Really?
I'm just like, I don't like this at all. And it's Bow Wow. Bow Wow to Tokyo Drift is what Malin Ackerman is to Watchmen. I'm just like, God damn, you
Oh
suck in this.
god.
And I
Really,
can't,
Bow Wow is what you would say. I would say it was
I,
Lucas Black.
so you know what, Lucas, I'm just used to kind of, like I think I've seen enough Liam Hemsworth that I'm just like, okay, there's just always this white dude in one of these movies. I just kind of have to accept it. But Bow Wow just blows. Like he's so bad in it, and the fact that he's back because they already showed him in the Fast 9 trailer, I'm just like, God
Hmm.
damn it, why? Like, why bring
Well,
him back?
Okay,
Not
to be
so to clear
fair,
your doubts,
he's not a major
in it a
role. Like
lot.
the Tokyo Drift crew, they help
Mhm.
in the smallest way possible.
okay.
So
Okay.
and they have like very little lines. They're like basically just like a goofy trio now. Like but
Okay,
So
that's
okay.
but
so
I'm surprised, dude,
final
because
thoughts on the
Tokyo Drift
first
is
Fast and Furious
probably
before we move on to the
oh my
first.
bad. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, Tokyo Drift might be among my favorites of the franchise. But before we get to that, let's bring up too fast, too
Fuck.
furious.
Okay.
The
Yes.
first
Fuck yes. Let's talk about Too
the
Fast.
LGBTQ plus movie in this
Okay.
franchise.
So
This
yeah, that
the
is
romantic comedy in this franchise.
it is the gayest one out of all of them, and that's really
It
saying
is
something. Like
it is one of the gay it is one of the gayest movies I've ever seen, and I watched Call Me by Your Name.
yeah, so the best thing about this
The
movie, and I
entire
even
time, it is an hour and a half of Tyrese thirsting after Paul Walker. It's like and getting mad whenever he's looking at Eva Mendes, like, why you checking that girl out for?
well, first off, it's Eva Mendes. Why wouldn't he be checking her out?
Yeah,
True.
But
of
two,
course.
I tweeted this out when I was rewatching it like a week or so ago. I'm like, this is basically the road to El Dorado, but with cars. Like, it is such a gay movie, and if you have not watched Road to El Dorado recently, I recommend you go back and watch it and see how incredibly gay Road to El Dorado is. But they even have a fight. Oh, so that's the big thing about these movies outside of Dom, if and Dom, Letty, and I probably say Mia,
Mm.
no one else can fucking fight. Like Roman is such a shitty fighter. It is
Yeah.
unbelievable how bad he is
Yeah,
at defending himself.
and and as a guy who does martial arts, it was cool because Paul Walker was a brown belt in jiu-jitsu up until his death, and he's actually using some of that in this movie. It was cool to see. He fucks up Tyrese.
He really does. Like
It was like
easily.
that was that was 2 seconds away. I'm pretty sure they cut out a gay love scene between the two of them.
They were
Like
kissing
those
after.
Hollywood sex scenes that eventually turn Hollywood fight scene that eventually just turns into them making love.
There, there's definitely a random gay like baby boy esque sex scene in Too Fast Too Furious.
It got cut alongside Vince's arm in the first
Yeah,
one.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, it got cut alongside Vince's sleeves. Vince's sleeves, excuse me. But I definitely, out of all the first three, this one definitely suffers the most with the departure of Vin Diesel.
Oh yeah,
Because originally the film was supposed to be a direct sequel. Everyone was supposed to come back, but
Mm,
at the last second, Vin Diesel refused to. So the writers were kind of forced to retool this entire script and think, okay, if we don't have Vin Diesel, we don't have Letty, we don't have Mia, because Dom is the connection between them.
mm,
So, okay, the original plan was it was going to be Paul Walker and Ja Rule from the first movie.
mm.
But Ja Rule had other obligations to the Fire Festival.
Yeah,
So
no, he really fumbled
that's how we
that
got
bag.
Tyrese.
He really fumbled that bag because
Shoulda,
Tyrese, because
shoulda,
It-
shoulda, shoulda, coulda, Luda.
oh my god.
so okay,
But
Ludacris. Sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
so to be fair to this movie, I do think it is sort of the one where you do start to see where the entire franchise is going in terms of like
Yep.
Hmm,
spy shit and just going off the wall, trying to overtop itself. I mean, top itself
a,
each movie.
a little bit, but I saw it more as like they do this shit on like Miami Vice all the time.
That's true. That's
That's
true.
essentially what this film is. It's a
But I
film version. It's the somehow the better film version of Miami Vice because I
Yeah,
think the
it
Colin
really
Farrell Jamie Foxx one came out relatively close to that.
but I think it's
Yes, I
like
believe so.
I think it's like the as realistic to the escalation as you can possibly get to where we
Mm,
get to in the future.
okay,
Because
okay.
they
What doesn't really work is
mm,
a lot of the car stunts. A lot of them are CG. There's
mm,
a lot of CG with the
So
stunts in this movie.
okay, so I actually thought most of the car scenes, especially the opening one, actually works really well. So the thing I really like about this movie is that in the first movie, how do I put this? In the first movie, Brian is a good driver, but
mm,
he's not beating Dom, nor should he beat Dom. And
mm,
so when you get, so I have to give friend Nathan over at Mission Impossible some credit. I didn't know there was a fucking prelude, uh,
mm,
supercharged prelude, which connects the first film to Too Fast, Too Furious. So I watched
Hmm.
that, and it's not necessary viewing, but it does show Brian winning races to get from LA to Miami, and that's how he funds like getting to Miami. And he's on the run the whole time, obviously. So you see Brian become a better driver throughout this short film. And I went, you know what? Again, not necessary, but I appreciate that this exists, so I can at least see Brian grow more as a driver. So when he kind of comes onto the scene in Too Fast, Too Furious, you go, oh, this is a more confident driver. He knows his car
mm,
Hmm.
because he's gone fucking cross country with it. And you go, oh, okay, he's actually kind of earned where he is at this point, which is something I think is actually important for the film. Now, where the film falls apart is that these cops have these like spear, like, oh, these are made to specifically target streetcar engines. I went, all right, I that's
Okay,
that's cute. All right.
it's
welcome to the
But that's
cute,
sci-fi
but it's
realm.
also not. It's also not something that would be shocking to see outside of within the realm of network TV, which is
Yeah,
definitely
fair.
where this film is getting its influence.
And I
Yeah.
mean, if you
But speaking of the early parts of this franchise, stuff that hasn't aged the best,
mm.
Cole Hauser as your Argentinian Latino drug dealer cartel villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, they brown faced that dude,
Yeah,
and
they did.
Welcome to the early
yeah, speaking
2000s,
of
my
shit that
guy.
hasn't aged well,
Yeah, you're not
really,
so it's actually funny you bring him up. I actually
Mm,
thought as a villain, I
mm,
thought he's a pretty good villain. I mean, for the very limited amount that we know about him, like he
mhm.
is there to
yeah,
be.
outside of the suspect casting, he was fucking intimidating. I really
Yeah,
ended up liking him as a villain.
Does he ever come back in the
And
series?
it was kind of
nah,
Nah. He'll be back in 10
dude,
maybe.
you can't bring up a white boy. You can't bring back a white boy in brown face.
just
I
Not in
hashtag
2021.
Hey,
hashtag
hey, hey,
justice for
hey.
Carter.
Hey. What is Vin Diesel? I don't know if he's Hispanic
We
or if
don't
he's white,
know.
if he's like light skinned, but like,
Vin Diesel
We
is
don't
basically
know.
Vin Diesel is a Pepperidge Farm cookie with a giant question mark on the marketing.
and the
Like,
reason, all right, we'll get to it when we get to it with nine, but like the casting choices for his family were very interesting to me because it just made it more ambiguous to me. I have no idea what this man is at this point.
Honestly,
Um,
I think his dad just fucked around a lot and always ended up getting custody.
but are we sure that's his dad? That's the thing I was. That's the thing that I was asking. Like, are we sure that's his dad? What does the mom look like? Because if she is brown too, neither one of them gave them any color. But back to, back to Too Fast, Too Furious. Yeah, no, I agree on even though poor casting, maybe you shouldn't have made him Argentinian or Colombian.
no,
Although
yeah, bad call.
To be fair, Argentinians do tend to be white. Um, but if he was
True, but they're not
Colombian,
Cole Hauser white.
yeah, no. I'm not
Yeah.
defending it by any means, but I'm just saying Argentinians are like the whitest Hispanic you can get, aside from
Okay,
straight
fair,
out of
fair.
Spain.
Yeah. Miami is not short on tanny beds. He could have just went to one and been like, "All right, we're good now."
Now, if this was like a Pablo Escobar stand-in, then yeah, I would have been a lot more angry and been like, yeah, no. But I'm
So
gonna
I
let
would
it.
like to point. Good.
What were you about to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, considering this movie came out in 2003, still
Mm,
shitty, but still 2003. What's
yeah,
Disney's excuse for making Jake Gyllenhaal Persian in Prince of Persia? It's just like the
you got a point there.
Ooh.
come on, Disney, where you
What's
at?
Ridley Scott? What What's Ridley Scott's excuse for Exodus: Gods and Kings?
Well, you heard what he said
What's the
about
excuse for Gods of Egypt?
well, you heard what he said about that. He said, "I can't make $150 million movie starring Muhammad so and so." That's what Ridley
Wow.
Scott said, and I went, "Oh, you're an asshole." So, yeah, that's his excuse apparently.
I mean, to be fair, he's like an
Hollywood.
80-year-old man, so he could possibly be going senile. We wouldn't know.
Yeah, hopefully, but 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 Tokyo Drift though, because you kind of touched on that
Oh
one
god.
earlier. So
Yep,
Nick, you're
Tokyo
not.
Drift, which is Justin Lin's first film in this franchise.
Hmm.
For
So
me,
it
this
is the
has like
best
a
record.
completely different. Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Hunter.
No, I was gonna say it's the
Oh,
best directed one out of the three.
Hmm.
yes, and that's why I think I like this film so much. It has a completely different energy from the first two, mostly owing to that almost all the car stunts, besides a few CG enhancements, like some shots that were impossible to get without CG. A lot of them are 100% practical,
Yeah.
which was amazing. Because I'd say out of like this first original trilogy, this has the best car scenes in the entire franchise. And
Yeah.
it also introduces the best character in the fucking series,
Hmm.
Han Solo, which,
Hmm.
yes, that is his real name. Oh, and
Yeah.
Seoul is spelled like Seoul in South Korea.
The
Yeah.
goat.
So yeah, so Han is amazing, and Han is like the reason to watch Tokyo Drift, and
Mm.
the direction. But again, I
Mm.
fucking hate Bow Wow so goddamn much. Like that movie is just dragged significantly down for me, and I thought the
Mm.
villain was just to be honest. But Han
I
is
mean, true, but also at the time, how many fucking major studio films had a mostly Asian cast outside of,
Mm.
again, Lucas Black and Bow Wow?
Yeah. And I think
so
that's like the
yeah.
one thing aside from what's his name from the villain in Too Fast Too Furious. Like this is by
Mm.
far the most diverse like franchise, blockbuster franchise like that we have, I think.
Mm.
And I
Yeah,
mean
there's been
it
certainly
doesn't have too much competition obviously, but you know. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you're not
this is
wrong,
like one of
unfortunately.
the few franchises that come to mind that are
yeah.
consistently putting people of color in like leading roles.
Mm, yeah, but
And again, going to the bad parts of this movie, I think I heard this from Brian Salisbury. This movie is the Karate Kid. This borrows all of its structure from Karate Kid,
It
except
does.
halfway through, Mr. Miyagi dies.
Yeah, basically.
Think about it. He like goes to the initial race. He gets his ass kicked. He like learns how to like drift
but
and like
it's
slowly gets better. And then the final climactic scene race or fight where he wins.
you want to know why this is my favorite Fast and Furious movie? Because it's the prototypical hero's
Wait.
journey. Like it's
Okay.
literally just the hero's journey without like even trying like anything new, anything different, except you just got cars.
I just like it
um,
because it's 100% the Karate Kid, even down to having your lead
but
be
I
the
mean,
oldest motherfucker in the goddamn room when he's supposed to be 17.
but I'm well. Although to be fair to Ralph, he looked 12 in that in Karate Kid.
Dude, you know how
Cannot say the
ridiculous that
same.
was? Ralph Macchio was like 5 years older than Thomas Even Griffith in fucking Karate Kid 3.
But hey,
He was older than Terry fucking Silver.
but yeah. So I enjoy it for what it is. It is the prototypical hero's journey. You got a country bumpkin headed to Tokyo, for God knows what reason his dad is there for. Um,
What's
and
that thing you call me? Goddamn.
Which, God, yeah, like you're literally
Which,
laying out all my
again, just
problems with the movie.
which, yeah, speaking of, this movie does a great job of just showing the fucking city of Tokyo.
yes.
Because just watching it, I just saw so many landmarks and so many things that, holy shit, I've actually been there. Like
Mm,
that amazing fucking car chase through the streets where they do that drift through Shibuya Square,
mm,
the Shibuya crossing, excuse me, which is that giant like multiple way crosswalk, which any time of day, it is the busiest section in the entire city.
mm.
And that was just incredible. And seeing like the fucking like two seas parting to let the cars through.
Yeah, like so. Okay, and this is way too high of a compliment for this movie, but fuck it. It's the one thing I will give. The one thing I will give the movie is that similar to the taking of Pelham 123, the city of Tokyo does
Okay.
feel like its own character,
Yeah.
and that is
Mm.
something I will give the movie credit for. But the stuff that I just despise about that just so outweighs my enjoyment of it, and it bums me out
Okay.
because there's stuff I really do enjoy about it. To your
Mm.
point, we haven't even mentioned that fucking home improvement kid, Zachary Ty Bryan, is in this fucking movie. And I remember I was like, wait, is that the home improvement kid? Like,
I forgot that he was in it.
yeah, no, that was the biggest hole. I was like, wait, I know you. You're on that show that my friends like that I went, why the fuck do you watch this? And yeah, he's
Wait,
actually
Friends?
no, shockingly not Friends. Like, even though if David Schwimmer was the villain, this movie would have been 1,000 times better.
David Schwimmer was the villain. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I can't wait for when it's gonna probably be called FX or like Furious X or like Fast 10, where David Schwimmer is the fucking villain.
Yeah, the last battle takes place in the Ross. Thank you.
It takes place in a Ross. It takes place in a Ross in space.
Why are we not writing for Universal? Come on, guys.
Yeah, Universal.
Cut the check.
We got you.
Cut the check, and then we'll release the Jurassic Park script for you. The Fast and Furious Jurassic Park collab crossover.
Furious Park.
Furious Park. Let's go. Let's go. It writes itself, honestly.
Furious World, Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah, it honestly writes itself.
It really does. But
just Dom racing.
When you think about it, when you think about Tokyo Drift, this is pretty much the movie that saved the franchise. Because originally this was supposed to go straight to video. And a lot of it was saved because because Universal gave the film rights to Riddick back to Vin Diesel in exchange for his cameo at the very end, and that's what kind of saved it. So without this movie, we wouldn't be talking about like the family going into like space and fighting Transformers and all that. So I think a lot of the existence of the current franchise as it is owed to Tokyo Drift, especially later when this becomes the fucking nexus point of the franchise.
Where they retcon the shit out of the order of the films to make this fit. Like, which, I mean, credit to them for finding a way to make that work, because when I was going through the watching order, I went, oh fuck, technically this is like after 5, which is weird, but the way they retcon it, it works.
And I think like
by the time this is pretty much set in like 2015, which just rewatching it, I could buy it.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that.
And even all like people are still using flip phones. Yeah, they're a big thing in Japan. People still use flip phones here.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I didn't see anything too out of place in terms of the technology. So yeah, you could get away with that. Yeah,
I mean, there are no vending machines with used panties in them. I mean, that was like the one thing that was
that's like the one area. That's the one area of Tokyo they didn't go to.
Yeah, like
I didn't
see enough. Yeah, right. I'm sorry. That's the line of there.
I'm sorry. It was like, did you see all that ass walking around? Why are they gonna go there and get it from the source?
Yeah. So okay, can we get into the fourth one with the best, maybe one of the best taglines in a movie in the last 20 years? It's so simple but so hilarious.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But here's the tagline: new model, original parts. Perfect. Mwah!
Fuck it. I'm with it. Let's go.
Right. Yeah.
And this was the one where you started to get like to the zany shit. Like the stunts were starting to go nuts. Now, granted, I didn't see this one. They're like the middle portion of these films, like 4, 5, and 6. I did not see. I've just seen clips, and I know what happens. Like I know about Letty's arc. I know about Dom.
Yeah.
So
it's hilarious because there's a prequel or a prequel film in this called Los I can never say the last like the word.
Mhm.
I don't want to fuck it up, but there is a prequel film with this, and it stars Jordana Brewster, Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, and Michelle Rodriguez for about 5 minutes,
Mm.
and her ass gets killed really early on in the game, and you go, oh shit, okay, and honestly, this is maybe I think the most underrated one because it's Dom going, all right, you killed my girlfriend. I'm out for vengeance no matter the fuck what. And so when Dom goes on this rampage, it's really quite fascinating because honestly, it's the most it seems like he's ever cared about Letty before. It's like, oh, you did love her. Okay, cool, good to know. But when he's going around,
Yeah,
kind
and
of, good.
yeah, going on this like murderous like nos fueled rampage. It's like amazing that, and it's amazing that Dom cares that much about Letty because by all indications from the first movie, he was like, all right, yeah, I'll throw you one real quick.
Right? Yeah,
And
it never really.
eventually, like, the franchise entirely becomes hinged on their relationship. A
Mm.
little bit
Yes.
by necessity, again, because of Paul Walker's passing and how do you continue it, but also their chemistry worked, I
Mm.
think.
I don't think by necessity. I think by necessity. But
You got a
but
point there.
there you go.
Fuck you.
That is a part of the selling point to this franchise.
but but what I love, genuinely love about this movie is that this is the most emotionally pissed off you really see Dom
Mm.
until
Mm.
kind of the Fate of the Furious, but
Mm.
he's genuinely angry in this. And that's really a side of him you don't really they kind of flirt with it in the Fast and the Furious, but he is in full on kind of Max Payne mode here. And I went, oh, this is actually a new wrinkle and dimension to this character that it's kind of like when Raylan would get pissed off on Justified. And you go, oh, that's right. There's always this potential that I need to always keep in the back of my mind. And I kind of wish we would actually go back to it more.
It was a side that we heard about in the Fast and the Furious. It was a side that, yeah, this guy went to prison for nearly beating someone to death with a torque wrench. And throughout the film, we never see that side of Dom, and we
No.
don't until we get to here, which is definitely a more interesting side to the character of Toretto because you know that this guy is there underneath all that cool, all that like stoicism. We kind of need to see that guy more. It was like probably the last time in the franchise that Dom shows emotion.
Damn.
Like,
See, I'd say probably until
like
we'll get there. We'll get there. But
okay.
but I actually love Dom and Brian's relationship in this because Dom finds out that Brian had Letty as an informant, which is what put her in that drug dealer, I think Felix, I want to say it's a villain's name, but puts her in his crosshairs. And so Dom,
the dealer's name is
Braga, Felix Braga, whatever. But maybe he had
Braga, who we find is played by John Ortiz.
Yeah. So they at least got someone to kind of match the nationality here this time around.
For the first time, yeah.
Yeah.
They got a brown guy to play a brown guy.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, broke clock, right? But but with this, but with that though, when Dom freaks out on Brian and starts kicking the shit out of him for putting Letty in danger, I went, oh well. I mean, fair play. Like, I get why you're pissed, but Brian is like, yeah, she sought me out, dude. Maybe you should have, actually been more open with your partner. And kind of when he dropped that, I went, yeah, he's not wrong. Like, maybe you should have not been, driving around and actually talk to the person you're supposed to. So they're married at that point, might I add, too, which is something that I always forget
another
about.
fucking retcon.
Yeah, because
another fucking retcon. And
because
yeah, wedding that we find out in true Dominic Toretto fashion, he got married in a tank top.
Of course. What did you expect? Did he wear a bow tie with the tank top?
Just wear like a fucking Chippendale outfit.
Tuxedo shirt, but he tears the sleeves off. That would have been.
That would have been perfect. That would have been perfect.
Puts necklace on over the tuxedo part. That would have been just perfect. Aces right there. But honest, so there's that whole subplot. But I know we talk about Dom and Letty kind of being the heart as far as the relationship. I've always really thought it's Brian and Mia. Like I've always liked them more together. It actually seems like it seems like independent from all of this shit, they actually are the ones who care about each other and could step away from it if they needed to. I think that's one of the few issues I actually have with these is that it just always feels like Dom is gonna always be pissing someone off. So like at some point either he's gonna like crash his car. Well, I mean, sorry, crash his car again. Pardon me. And you know he just won't get back up, or they're gonna split up. It just doesn't feel like they could ever just be without all this. Like even the Fast 9 trailer, when you know Lady goes, "Do you miss the old life?" And he goes, "You know, every day." It's like, well, there is a kid now. Like you kind of need to not be doing, you know, this shit all the time. Like you have someone to take care of. And I appreciate that when Mia kind of asked Brian, like, why'd you let him go? And Brian really just kind of goes, I don't really know. But you can feel as the film goes on, Brian kind of forming his own code, calling back to the first film where Dom tells him, you know, that's all a man has at the end of the day is a code. So I appreciate that still resonates and comes back. And then the fact that Brian beats the shit out of that one FBI guy who is interrogating Mia, that is one of the best ass kickings I'd seen in a minute. I was like, oh my god, like he
motherfucker. What
he beats the shit.
Beats up a guy and then gets broken up by Shay motherfucking Wiggum.
Yeah, he
whips welcome addition to any franchise ever.
But he whips his ass like it was his job. I was like, holy shit! Like Brian need him so quick. I blinked and I missed it. I actually had to rewind it. I was like, God damn, Brian, like ease up. But again, he cares about Mia, and I went, well, Dom, could you get on Brian's level, man? Like he's not even with Mia yet. He cares more than you do about Letty, but
family.
I mean, at this point, we're kind of shifting more into like completely stoic and emotionless Dom Toretto.
Yeah.
So it's like Vin Diesel can't show emotion. Bro, no feel.
I mean, all right, that was good. But also the fourth one brings us Gal Gadot, and Gal, yeah, that was a nice addition. After Wonder Woman 84, she should really come back to these. But
yeah, if they could retcon Han's death, they could retcon hers too.
Fucking exactly.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing that we got the 4 hour. We got Justice.
Wait, repeat that.
It's amazing that we got a 4 hour Justice League before we got Justice for Han.
What? Right? Which that's yeah.
Justice for Han.
So the only thing for me in the fourth film that's unrealistic is that Dom doesn't just fuck the shit out of Giselle, because there's a point where she's like Jane Foster in Thor. Like you can have this right now.
Throwing herself at him.
And Dom's like, no, I'm good. I'm sad about my family. I'm like, dude, you know what's great for depression? Fucking.
Absolutely.
Like, get over yourself. Like, oh, I'm sorry. You have, and let's be real, Gal Gadot. All due respect to Michelle Rodriguez, that's a step up. That's actually several steps up. Like, I mean, like that's like going from a guest room to executive suite. Like, come on, Dom, go ahead,
Presidential
man.
suite.
But no, he's like, nope, can't do that.
Oh my
Dummy.
god.
No, bro, too sad.
Yeah.
Missed it. Missed
even
the
though
opportunity.
even the Hulk likes to fuck Dom, really. That was the one thing I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh, fuck off, dude. Really? Like
that was definitely the most unrealistic part.
it really is. Like, come on. Like,
Oh, but what's more ridiculous, that or the fact that Dom can go to like a crime scene that was cleaned up weeks ago, find like a smidge of dirt, and recreate it like Will Graham from Hannibal.
yeah, he turns into fucking Bruce Wayne.
We get CSI. We get CSI Dominic Toretto.
It's perfect.
That sounds amazing.
When the fuck did this guy fucking like Vin Diesel, bald-headed ass, street racer, when did he become fucking Batman?
Yeah.
These guys struggle to take down
fucking
trucks.
detective vision. What the fuck?
Once upon a time, these guys struggled to take down trucks.
Struggled to steal some. Dudes struggle to steal DVD VCR combos and can figure out a crime scene perfectly.
That's sensational.
Yeah,
it's
amazing.
Perfect.
It's wonderful in a way that I didn't know, because I had forgotten about that, because I was like, how does he track down Letty's? Because my silly critic brain thought, oh, he'll reach out to Brian for help. No, Dom just goes to the street, looks around, looks off like he's looking into a sunset, and immediately puts together, oh, it's this type of nitrate, or this type of tire. There's only one shop in LA that sells this tire. I'm like, oh, really?
Motherfucker!
He's a street racer. He's obviously very knowledgeable on tires, cars.
But this is
Nas.
also
a whole lot of Nas.
Yeah, this is also like the turning point when Diesel started to take more creative control of the franchise, and it was kind of dictated that, look, no matter what, Dom can never be wrong.
Yeah.
Even when anybody would call that motherfucker out, he can never be wrong. Also, he can never lose a fight. Oh, guess what? You got to have that story. Mine now.
Yeah, why do you think I said that he turns into Batman? He can never be wrong. Like I said that purposefully. He straight up turns into Batman. If Batman, yeah.
So you think Dominic Toretto can beat Superman with enough prep time? I think so. I think with or without prep time.
With enough NOS, Dominic Toretto could beat Superman.
Dom would go ahead and find Kryptonite NOS and just drive around in a circle, which would release smoke that would kill Superman, weaken him enough so that Dom could just run him down with a Kryptonite spear that he's embedded in the front of his car.
And because Dom could beat Superman, he can beat Goku.
All
makes sense.
Meanwhile, Zack Snyder is somewhere watching it. It's just
yeah,
it's canon.
Oh my god, this is brilliant.
It's canon. It's canon.
It's canon.
So the last thing I'll say about Fast and Furious 4 is, so it actually has one of my favorite action scenes in the whole film, or in the whole series. That whole mine chase sequence, which
that chase is incredible.
Which, goddamn,
on paper, it should be a confusing, dark mess. But the geography of where they're going, because we've been through that entire like set piece before in the movie, and also we know where every single character is thanks to Lynn's direction.
Mm.
So
Well,
it's
also,
just one of the best. It's
well,
one of the best sequences in the entire franchise.
what's crazy
And
about it
it's kind of like
too.
the last time this franchise was grounded. Well, slightly grounded.
Yeah, because I'm happy you said slightly because you forget the end of that sequence is Brian running that guy down with his car and killing him, and I just
Nice.
wait, you just ram
Oh.
this like, all right, cool.
No, and no. It's like Brian, he like holds the guy's ankle so he can't run away,
Mhm.
and Vin Diesel just rams him full speed with his car. And that guy was Laz Alonso, becomes Mother's Milk in The Boys, who I had to
He-
like look and double check that because
That's
he was
Yeah.
so
sensational.
different then.
Dude, the people
It-
that come in and out of these movies are great too.
Mm.
it's
The side
It's-
casting is phenomenal.
it's very sad that Dom wasn't driving a Dodge because how was your day, Dom? Oh, I rammed this black guy with my Dodge. It was fucking awesome. Family.
Family.
Oh, I murdered the shit out of this dude with my car. It was awesome.
I did it
Yeah,
for the
like-
family.
Yeah,
Beautiful
right.
family.
Yeah. That's good shit. So I'm assuming we can talk about Fast Five now, right? Can we talk about like the best one? Is that
And this was the one that
Yeah,
introduced The Rock,
yeah.
right? This is where he was the villain, right?
Yeah, this is where The Rock comes in, and it was like shocking because you put The Rock in Fast Five next to like even old WWE Rock or even The Rock from The Rundown, and this Rock looks like he ate that Rock.
yeah?
You
Like
smell what The Rock is cooking? Oh yeah, it's another Rock.
the Rock looks more like the Boulder here. Like, he's getting so big. He's like that episode of SpongeBob where Squidward eats too many Krabby Patties. Like he's so massive. It's like, goddamn, dude, like you're gonna pop if someone pokes you with a needle.
The Boulder.
Imagine if The Rock Imagine if The Rock became so big he just collapsed in on himself and became skinny again.
Just turns
If
into a
that would
neutron
even
star.
be possible.
Oh my gosh. It'd just be a black hole.
You just
Yeah.
like throw something at him and it starts like going into orbit.
The Rock is Galactus. I'm telling you, come on, Marvel, pay me. Cut the check.
Devourer of worlds and fucking deadlifter of small planets.
Right, but Fast.
But yeah,
but
speaking
Fast
of like
Five-
constantly shifting genres, this is their heist movie. This is
Yes.
this is Ocean's 11.
Yeah,
And this is like kind of the shift away from, okay, our movies were originally about like a single protagonist and everybody else around them is more or less a supporting character. This is definitely where the Mission Impossible and Ocean's influence comes in because they make it more of a team film. They bring back a lot of characters from previous films. They bring back Leo and Santos and Gal Gadot from the fourth film. They bring back Han. They bring back my personal favorite dynamic duo later in the franchise with Tyrese and Luda.
Luda. Yeah,
And all of a sudden, they all have like Luda, whose skills include like tech savvy and writing and producing songs that nobody knows of that play in the background of these films.
okay, so Act of Fool still fucking slaps. That's a great fucking song.
True.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that song is fucking amazing.
but also as Ludacris has acted more in these Fast and Furious films and his acting profile has gone up, his rapping skills have gone the exact opposite way. Because if you have not heard Ludaversal, don't like
Oh no. Oh
stick with
god.
chicken and beer.
I didn't know he still made music.
Exactly.
I didn't know he was still rapping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought
don't listen to it.
I
Like
thought he was one of those rappers that retired and became an actor, you know?
yeah, if
That's my headcanon.
basically if you imagine Will Smith's character from Concussion rapping, that's basically how Ludacris sounds. Like just don't just
I'm just imagining him repeating "Tell the truth." Oh my god. I'm just
Wait, so he tries to do
imagining
an
just,
African
Tell
accent?
the truth to
yeah,
like a
kinda.
beat.
It's just not good shit. But
Okay,
Fast
I need to
Five.
hear this shit now.
Yeah, no, you're kind
But
of selling me on this, to be honest with you.
no,
You're
Universal's bad.
selling
Don't
me.
listen to it. Don't listen to it. I'm it's like the ring. Just don't play the tape. I'm trying to save y'all.
It's like final
Yeah, like
just
just no.
bound like the fucking Necronomicon. It's like don't listen, don't hear it, don't speak it.
But see, the thing is, the more you tell me not to, the more I want to. That's the problem. That's how these movies start.
How very Cosby of you. But
Oh.
No, we didn't need to take it there. I'm gonna cut that out. Oh my god, there's no pudding pops here.
yeah, right. But Fast Five, the best thing about this movie is that it lays its cards out on the table pretty early on and goes, look, if you can't accept this, this is not for you. And the moment they get a duplicate safe overnighted to them, I just went, all right, I need to just kind of like, fine, all right,
and the fucking justification is like, I had a life before you met me. It's like, it still doesn't explain how you got that fucking duplicate safe.
He had a life.
It's like
before you met him.
Mhm.
That duplicate safe was waiting since that life, you know?
But that's the thing. It's like you could say that to like if you have a current partner, I had a life before you. Okay, it doesn't explain why you can fly, motherfucker. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like,
maybe I had a life as a bird.
well, unless you're Nelly Furtado, that doesn't apply. but
oh my god.
But Nick, you brought up the whole Vin Diesel not being not being able to lose a fight. I'll say it right now: the fight between Hobbs and Dom, that's a better fight than Batman vs Superman. Like that shit was fucking awesome. I went.
It goes on way longer.
It does
goes on way longer. That's for sure.
And it is just it's just too. It's like, you remember that game Rampage for Nintendo 64? It's like, it's that.
Yeah.
It's just,
yes. Speaking of The Rock.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It's two titans just beating the shit out of each other. I went, you know what? This is what I wanted. Like, when I think Dom is the one, Dom jumps, grabs Hobbs, and pushes him through a window. And I just went, yep, this is great. Don't even care.
Have you guys seen that like edit of like Hollywood sex scenes set to like romantic music be like, and it's just their fight set to like Love Me Like You Do? They're like
I need to
tossing each other around, breaking shit. It's kind of amazing. And yeah, that's easily the best fight scene in this. Well, one of the best fight scenes of the franchise up to this point. And it's kind of the first time you see a guy that can like physically match Dom.
Yes.
And again, introducing The Rock, who is just all of the charisma that Vin Diesel abandoned. He just soaked up. Just Oh, remember, hope you got your thunderwear on. And amazing that they gave him the one F bomb in the movie.
You
Yeah,
know what? You
the
know what's
Hey, yo,
funny
one.
about
translator, give me this. And one more thing. Stay the fuck out of my way.
you know
Yeah,
what's funny
love it.
about Vin Diesel and The
And
Rock though?
this was at the time when The Rock was still doing a whole bunch of like family films,
Mm.
and this was kind of his return to form for the action genre. It was like,
Yes.
fuck yeah, give me this Rock.
So the funniest thing to me about their relationship, right? The Rock and Vin Diesel, is that apparently their whole feud started because Vin thought that The Rock wasn't trying to act, apparently. Or like he wasn't trying
Yeah.
during one of their
Yeah.
scenes together. And I just find that so fucking hilarious. Because The Rock in Seven, at least in the movies that I've seen of him, Seven, and I think was he in Eight for a little bit? No, wait, he wasn't in Eight,
He
right?
wasn't it.
He
Yeah.
was?
He wasn't
he's
Okay.
it.
in
He
it.
was in Fate of
Yeah,
the
he's
Furious. That was the last time that The Rock and Vin Diesel were in a movie together.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why we got Hobbs and Shaw.
And yeah, and even in Hobbs and Shaw, like he I don't know how this man Vin could even try to criticize The Rock. Cause
Yeah, it's like
the
The
comedic
Rock is
timing.
playing The Rock. He is playing The Rock, but The Rock is one charming motherfucker.
Yeah.
He really is, like,
Yeah.
horribly so.
He
And
has he has far more comedic timing than Vin will ever have. You give The Rock all Vin's quips, and it'll hit a lot differently, and you'll be
It was
laughing for the
yeah,
reason that they
kind of
intended you to laugh, instead of it being because Vin said it.
yeah,
Like the
and
only
it was
reason why
kind
you
of
laugh
like
at Vin's
amazing that
quote. Oh, what were you about to say?
yeah, the only reason you laugh at Vin's quips is because he's delivering it so straight faced.
Yeah.
He wants you to take him seriously so bad. It's like,
well, yeah.
no.
Like The Rock, like Vin criticizing The Rock for having for his acting is just fucking absurd. Like it's a genuinely hilarious notion in general, especially with the stuff that that Vin Diesel's done in between Fast and Furious when he's not
Mm.
playing a tree. But the thing about Fast Five, the whole chase sequence with the safe is one of the coolest action scenes in the last 20 years.
Oh
It's a
yeah.
genuinely great,
Oh yes.
well shot. Now, what I also appreciate about this is that damn everyone else apparently because they are just destroying the city.
Oh
You
yeah.
see people.
They
You
murder
see,
the there is a fucking body count in Rio de Janeiro.
yeah. It's just
They
like
tore that city the fuck up.
when you see the safe go through like 8 stores, you're just like, oh wow. So there's at least, let's just say 3 people per store. That's 24 people they killed within the span of about 30 seconds. So let's times that out by
Oh,
how
cars
long
that
this
they
whole
yeah.
yeah. It's
Yep,
like
other cars that they're constantly pancaking that aren't corrupt cops.
But that's
it's
just a
like
superhero movie.
when
Yeah, that crew has murdered hundreds of people.
so is Fast Furious 10, is that going to be Civil War where the government finally goes, hey, you need to stop killing everyone and stealing
Yes.
money and we're actually gonna
I could see that.
charge you.
I can see
We're
that,
actually gonna charge you.
especially after the wreckage that is that happens in 9, and I mean like 7 too. The entire
I'm
city
excited to
just
hear that.
like
Fucking
I remember.
7, 8, and 9.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
the carnage that they have left in their wake.
Like they're the worst. They're the worst spies ever. Let's get that out the way.
They're the
but
worst superheroes ever.
No, they're
let's be honest.
I'm pretty sure the Hulk has killed fewer people.
But let's be honest. They're just the only difference between them and Bond is that they're just a little more open about who they kill. Because Bond, because Fast Five is basically Quantum of Solace, but they have no one to answer to. It's just like we're about stealing this money. Who the fuck cares? But Bond goes around shooting everyone. It's like, oh hey, we could probably follow a lead if you weren't killing every goddamn person who has information. Oh, that's right. So I kind of appreciate how straightforward it kind of is in that aspect. Plus, everyone does, to Nick's point about it being an Ocean's film, everyone does have something to do in it. And I went, oh, all right. Now, admittedly, Giselle's role is basically let me be hot and let this guy grab my ass so we can scan his handprint, which, but you start to see
it. Did he just smack that ass, or do you like grab it and hold it?
Which I like the way that she's like she never answers. She just walks in and is like, all right, here it is. Like, but I appreciate that that's where we start to see Han and her's relationship start to become a thing, because Han, rightfully so, he plays it cool because like Roman is Roman, he's being all loud and black, and he's like, like, hey girl, can I holler? And she's like, no, get away from me, Baldy. And Han is just laying in the cut, like
the gun on him, like.
Yeah,
Sung Kang with all of the goddamn charisma in the world.
Yeah, he's just chilling. He's like, all right. He's like, I'm gonna take my time, and I'm just gonna lay in the cut,
chilling out, munching on them chips.
Yeah. Hey, girl. Speaking of the snack, why don't you come over here?
Sung Kang is like the Brad Pitt character from Ocean's 11, because he's always fucking eating, and he just bleeds cool.
Yeah, he really does. But outside of that, also, and I'm blanking on the character's name, but she's The Rock's partner in Fast 5. I appreciate the fact that
Elsa Pataki.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that she has, an arc that continues through the 8th film, which, go figure that they actually thought that far ahead. and the fact that they kind of fine, all right, kind of, but her and The Rock have genuinely great chemistry, and the reason that he brings her in, they establish it very early on. And you go, oh, okay, she's that cop who can't be corrupted, and I actually appreciate the way they play that whole thing out. Now, admittedly, it's stupid that Dom goes back, breaks into her house just to steal this necklace. I went, dude, you're on the run. What the fuck are you doing? Like, just go to Target and buy a new one. But
did you see how fine she was? Hey, he probably got her. He was like, shit, I need some ass.
But again, that's another girl who's
hot. Danger.
But that's another woman who's
another girl who inexplicably ends up with Dom.
Yeah, it's like Jesus, Dom. Like, he's just like, women are throwing at him like frisbees. He's like, oh, nope, can't. Like, Letty's my girlfriend's dead. Da da da. Like, oh my god. But where that film ends up is in a really fascinating place. Because that's where we get the whole, you thought Letty was dead, smoke bomb, she's not. And it's like, all right, really? Like, she wasn't dead. She looked pretty dead.
That is when the film became a fucking like superhero movie, because just like in those, death doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
but death means nothing in this franchise.
So, okay, you say that for a superhero film, and I get what you mean, but at least there's usually a fucking gauntlet to explain it. They just went, well, there was an explosion, which she was no more than 5 feet away from, so no scar damage, nothing.
Like shrapnel isn't a thing.
Nope.
Like,
no Tony Starks in this universe
couldn't have killed her.
Like, how close was Stark from that explosion in the first Iron Man? Like, about as far close as Letty was.
2 feet away.
Yeah, but so was Letty. Yeah, and he had to have surgery.
No. There was a difference.
Easy, Shia.
Stark's missile literally had it. It literally had his name on it.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. What was I thinking? But when they showed the flashback in the 6th film, I remember seeing it in theaters and I laughed out loud. I went, you know what? Fine. Like, what? Like, it clearly felt like they went, Michelle Rodriguez is a problem, and or we just don't want to work with her anymore. And then they went, and then she probably went, hey, I'll come back for like a third of my pay. And they went, well, all right, we need to write you back in. Fuck, how do we do that? Oh, did we forget to mention that he shot the car and not her? It's like, and oh, did we forget to mention that the coroner was apparently in on it too because there was a body? And
now I will say in Fast 9, they do explain everything. Especially their invincibility, their superpower. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
No spoilers. No spoilers. No spoilers. Do not spoil. I do not want to know.
Nah. But Nick knows what I'm talking about when I say that. Wink, wink.
I know what you're talking about, but it doesn't make it any less stupid.
But they explained it, and that's what matters. Is that they explained it.
But let's be fair though. Like even on one of my favorite shows, they never even explain on fucking Sherlock how he comes back from the dead. They're just like, oh, fan theory, fan theory. Are we going to give an explanation? No, he's back. Shut up. It's like, oh, all right. Thanks, Moffat. Yeah.
Fuck off.
Oh, I didn't know that the TARDIS apparently exists in Sherlock's world. Like, but you know what? Fine. Like, if you want to bring Letty back, and I will say the sixth film does at least lend itself to her coming back, and it is an interesting notion of the whole. Now it's bullshit, but the whole like she has amnesia and she sees the cross. She's like, wait, why do I recognize that? It's like, oh Jesus Christ! But weirdly works.
Since we're getting to the sixth one, and we've talked about like how each film is kind of like playing around in different genres. The sixth one is 100% a Mission Impossible film, but it's also completely a telenovela.
Yes,
it is 100%
absolutely
telenovela, soap opera, logic, and writing.
Yeah,
I was dead, but now I'm not, and now I have amnesia. And only Dom's, I don't know, love can like bring her memories back.
Yeah, it's a Care Bears movie. Yeah, like the power of love saves them all. Like it's wonderful. So okay, Luke Evans, he's a badass in this. He's a genuine badass.
The best.
You think he's the best?
At this point in the franchise, he is the best. He's one of the best villains that the franchise has had up to this point in it. Because with everybody else, there was kind of like this. Okay, they're not even really that intimidating. They're there, but then they're gone. They're not in the movie a whole bunch. They never have like a real physical confrontation with any of the other characters outside of maybe like a couple scenes. Here, Luke Evans, he just exudes creepy menace. And he has so many like amazing, like badass fights with like Dom and The Rock and Paul Walker.
Yeah.
And at points is kicking the shit out of them.
They
truly
take an
is
ass
like kind of like the introduction to the it's like the beginning of the super spy. And speaking of ass whoopings, we got to talk about our boy Joe Taslim from The Raid. Just easily beating the shit out of Han and Roman.
Like it was
a hilarious fight scene.
Like it was nothing. Like he didn't break a sweat.
He beat on the two of them like it was his job.
Yeah, it's basically like it was basically like pitching a baseball to a blind kid. Like they just had no chance. Like they got their asses handed to them in a way that I felt like I laughed. And at the end, there it's bad.
Like, at the very end, it was like, we don't need to tell nobody about this,
right?
Which, to be fair, that's not a story I would be fucking saying.
And honestly, I appreciated
that was honestly, Thanos took it easier on the Hulk.
Yeah, he actually did. And Gina Carano being in this and having her twist as far as her being a villain because I mean she can't be on a team with a black person, so of course like we all should have seen that coming.
Oh.
but hey Gina, how's that? Hey Gina, how's that Mandalorian job? Oh wait,
Oh,
tee but I actually like her in this.
That has
Shout
become.
out.
I liked her too in this, and that was this was like her first film role after Haywire.
Yes.
And I thought she did a really good job with it, especially in the fight scenes with Michelle Rodriguez. And it's like amazing that you get essentially two of the same fight scene, but the perspective shifts with both of them. Again, the first one
Yeah.
you're rooting for Gina, the second you're rooting for Michelle, and it has given us possibly the greatest aged GIF of all time, where Michelle just shoots Gina out of the plane before saying "wrong team, bitch." The
Yeah.
greatest aged gift of all time. I'm
Which
pretty sure that's what Mickey said to her before firing her from
right.
Disney.
Yeah, right
Woohoo!
after
Wrong team,
yeah.
bitch! Woohoo!
right. But that scene in the like the subway or whatever, that is a brutal ass scene, and it's
Mm,
you know like it's rare outside of really superhero films. It feels like to see women fighting, not like cat
mm.
fighting, but fighting,
Mhm.
and they are
Nah,
giving it.
that was
They're
a
giving it to each
fight.
other. Yeah, like they're both like cut up afterwards. I went, okay, like I really dig that this is all taking place right here, but they fuck each other up. And
Mm.
the biggest kind of like really moment in this is now it makes me happy. This is the one where where Dom and Owen have the street fight, which is just oh, it's so good. Sorry, I'm just thinking about the scene now because that's where he goes. You know what they always say about a street fight? The streets always win, and that's where Dom.
That's the next. That's the
that's
next
7.
one.
Oh, that's the 7th one. That's right.
7.
That's right. Oh, 6th
That's
one is
7.
where
That's
they have
different Shaw.
That's right. The 6th one
The
is where
sixth
they
one
have
is where they have the chase on the longest fucking runway of all time
ever. Yeah, it's almost like you built a Lego runway that just goes from one end of your house to the other because it just there's an infinite amount of loop for them to go ahead and get their shit done. But
but that's essentially where it becomes pro wrestling because they have Owen Shaw and they have like the big henchmen. They all try like their turn at fighting the big guy. Brian gets his ass whooped, Vin gets his ass whooped, and The Rock, it's like a fucking tag team match with The Rock and Vin Diesel. And that's also, this film kind of started a trend in the franchise where the bad guy from the last movie becomes like a part of the family, a part of the crew.
yeah,
And The Rock ends up working with the family.
That's so anime.
actually, yeah, that is very anime. Like, oh, I didn't know that our differences could be advantages. Yay, team! Yeah, it's
And now you know.
And now you're invited to the
knowing is
cookout.
half the battle.
Oh yeah, you know what? They should just cross. They should just cross us over with Snake Eyes at this point. Like, why the fuck not? Like,
why not?
Honestly, I wouldn't even bat a fucking eye.
Right at this point, like
you could tell. Honestly, you could tell me they're in the same universe. I'll buy it. Actually, I'd actually be more surprised that wait, where am I going with? Joke fell.
So it's really funny. The writer of several of these, actually, Chris Morgan, he has a really weird filmography. So he did Wanted, right? Which I like Wanted, the comics better, by the way. But so he did Wanted. He was a producer on that Disney movie, The Color of Friendship, which is actually a really good movie, if anyone has ever seen that. But then he does some random shit like Cellular and like 47 Ronin, and you're just like, oh, like you shouldn't be doing these. But he wrote Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, Furious 7, and Fate of the Furious. So it's like, oh, like he's done most of the back half of these. So it's like, I mean, credit to you, but
Yeah,
Um,
he's the guy that's pretty much responsible for the franchise as we know it today.
yes. So good or bad, you have him to thank.
I'm thankful
But
for him.
right, same. But
I'm absolutely thankful for him.
so I will say for me, since we've talked about it, Fury 7, man, that might be my favorite one
Mm,
outside of Fast Five
Mm.
because Fury
mm.
7 is where we get where basically Jason Statham puts aside his pride and goes, "All right, I like money. I should stop doing shitty mechanic movies, or like or whatever else I'm doing, like before the Meg, which is awesome." But he joins the franchise as Deckard Shaw, right? I think it's a character name,
Yep, as Owen Shaw's big bad brother,
and Deckard
former
Shaw is
SAS
wonderful.
gone rogue.
Deckard Shaw is
Oh yes,
great.
Yeah.
he
He
is
is wonderful.
incredible. His opening scene introduction is one of the greatest opening scenes in an action film to this day,
I'll give you
because you
that.
just see him like visiting his like now crippled brother in the hospital, and then he like
Yeah.
goes to leave and you see the carnage that he has left in his wake. It's just bodies lying everywhere, like the hospital's torn up. He like pulls a grenade pin and gives it to a guy and just pushes him back, and you see the explosion. And I'd say outside of like songs from Tokyo Drift, I'd say this has probably my favorite soundtrack out of the franchise.
Doesn't this have "We Own It"? Is that on here?
That was 6.
Damn it! The
This one,
seventh one that has see you again,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that song slaps.
Then it
That's a
has See
great
Yeah.
You
song.
Again. That song slaps, but I cannot fucking go to the gym to see you again.
Start
That's
Pretty
crying.
sure if I
fair.
start I'm pretty sure if I start deadlifting to that song, I'll just end up crying.
Bit of an ironic title too, but
Oh.
Oh, what?
In heaven.
Whatever.
In
That's not even that
heaven.
Oh
bad.
In
god. Oh my
heaven.
god.
They'll see each other again in heaven.
Oh, and while we're talking about like the franchise switching genres,
Mm.
this is kind of like the Looney Tunes one, because the crew is fucking the Roadrunner and Jason Statham is Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
okay, so
man shows up everywhere.
yeah, he's like
And
The
clinical
man just
depression.
showed
He's
up
everywhere.
and for that reason, he's my personal favorite villain in these movies. Because no other villain, unfortunately at least, no other villain really shows up as much as he does and gets as much development
Mm,
as he does.
mm.
So this is what I call the Terminator 2 Judgment Day of
Mm.
the Fast and Furious movies because
Oh.
because really Deckard, he's the T-1000 essentially. Like he's just
Yeah.
this force that feels like he's constantly one step ahead
Mm.
of them. And this is really a giant chase film. That's essentially
Mhm.
what this is. They have to
Mm.
get God's eye, and he's basically chasing them to get it while they're kind of sort of trying to chase him. They introduced Kurt Russell as Mr. Nobody in this, and I love seeing him in this.
Who Kurt Russell is a welcome addition to any franchise and
Mhm.
only makes every single movie he is in better.
True. Um, yeah,
And also
he
the most on the nose product placement of this franchise to date.
oh yeah, because when he goes like, oh, like what kind of you?
Man pulls a fucking bucket of Corona out of his ass.
Yeah, it was so. So Dom even or Mr. Nobody even asked Dom like, "Oh, you want a beer?" He's like, "It better be a Corona." I'm like, "God damn, no shame at all."
It's not a Fast and Furious movie without Corona. It's not.
You know what's weird is I had a Corona a week ago and I didn't even think about it. I'm like, why am I buying? Fuck, I've been watching Fast and Furious for the last 2 weeks and like subliminal messaging. I never drink Corona. I went, God damn it, Vin Diesel.
It works. It works. It works.
It
Yeah,
really
it's like
does. But
yeah, I've been pissed off because I haven't been able to like get Corona because of the movie, because Tokyo has been in a state of emergency, so restaurants aren't allowed to sell alcohol. And the
Oof,
one taco place I know that has it hasn't been able to sell it to me.
that sucks.
Well, thank God those Olympics are still
Pass.
happening.
I know. Yeah. You got a
But
date of when it will open up, apparently.
yeah, but but as far as this film was concerned, first off, they bring on Jimon Hansu, or Dijon Mustard, as I call him. He's great. He's great in this for
Or
the
the
little bit we
loudest
get it.
motherfucker on earth, Son Sam Jackson.
Yeah, but he's great in this for the bit that we get him. Um,
Mm.
we get Han, man, and Han is just one of those characters that when I see him, I get excited. I'm like, oh yay, you're here. So seeing him work with the crew is actually really cool. And then of course, Luke Hobbs has one of my favorite action moments in the last 15 years when because he gets taken out pretty early on in the film in a kind of shocking way.
Yeah, it gets taken out in a move that, wait, you kind of have physics still?
Yeah, like there's
He gets
kind of
taken out with like
consequences.
a broken arm.
Yeah, and like
There's
a
like
punctured
consequences to
lung,
action here?
but
What?
it leads to the most like TNT guys for movies who like movies, big dick swinging moment where he looks at his daughter and goes, "Daddy's got to go to work," and literally flexes so the cast breaks off his arm. And when I saw this in theaters, I was mid sip of my margarita and I stood up in the theater and went, "Let's fucking go!" And people behind me were like, "Why is this black guy yelling? It's not a Medea movie." But I was like, I was so goddamn happy watching that part. I went, "Yep, this movie's great." And at least to him with a fucking Gatling gun, I went, "Yep, this movie's perfect. Don't give a shit what anyone says."
Yes.
See, you gotta watch these
This is
movies
the
in a
best
black
movie in the whole
theater.
fucking.
Because in the black, like the theater I went to, we were cheering. We were just like, yo, everybody stood up. We were just like, yo, this is the moment here.
You gotta watch this movie
You
gotta watch these movies with barbecue and a bucket of Corona.
Right.
But that was like their Thor coming in Infinity War moment. Like,
yeah.
This is like the portal. It's like the portal scene in Endgame.
Yeah.
Or like Dude Bros.
Yeah.
Like
Honestly, like, oh man, I gotta calm down and knock over my PBR. Like, yeah, you got like it's ridiculous. Also, I appreciate the fact they bring in Natalie Emmanuel, who's another hacker. And I appreciate that both Tyree, that Roman and Tej both shoot their shot, and she's like, "Nah, I'm good." Like, I'm good. Because in one of these movies, it would be very easy to have one of the guys just get her by default, and she just goes, "No, like, you saved my life. That's cool." But okay, actually, that I brought her up, I just remembered that there's a point where Dom just drives his car off the edge of this cliff.
Like, just gives her like a motorcycle helmet. Fine.
The first
Not
of
a
many
scratch. Nothing's broken.
The first of many clips, might I add.
But in that same scene,
it's like the fucking scene in Lone Survivor where they jump off the cliff.
Now, mind you,
Except there are no consequences.
So Fast 7 was the one that brought me back into the series, and I hadn't watched it since I hadn't watched the series since like I saw like little bits of 4, but Drift was probably the last one I saw before I saw this. And when I saw Vin Diesel drive off the cliff, I was just like, yo, all right, I'm here now. Like, I'm watching the rest of these movies in theaters. Cause like this is where we get to the actual superhero stuff. Like, there are almost no consequences when it comes to Vin Diesel, especially. He can just do whatever he wants to at any given whim, and it's just fine. Like, we're just gonna make it through. It's gonna be the most epic stunt you'll ever see in your life. driving through
They
buildings.
And that's not even the fucking least of it.
Yeah.
They like drive a car through 3 skyscrapers in
Yeah.
Abu Dhabi.
and
Cars don't fly. Cars don't fly.
no, so that
Cars do
line,
fly.
I was sitting there going, no shit, cars don't fly. You shouldn't be doing this. But Dom jumps out just in time to jump out of the car, but they don't show this car kill the 5 dog walkers that are like, oh man, what a great, oh fuck. This car, like, just impales
It's like,
them.
man, what a beautiful sunset in Abu Dhabi. Oh fuck.
Right, like, I mean, yeah, it's so there's that whole sequence, and then there's, I think, maybe the best action bit actually in the film outside of the end, where Brian gets into this fight with this one villain, and the villain locks him.
You mean
like in that
Tony goddamn Jaw?
Thank you. Yeah, but he locks him in. And so Brian has to go ahead and go the long way around and jump off this like caravan that's moving towards this cliff. And I saw this in IMAX, and I'll be real, that whole sequence of the edge, like it teetering on the edge, I was getting genuine vertigo watching that. I went, dude, I'm like, your white ass better run. And so when he runs and jumps and grabs the back of Letty's car, I just went, this is fucking nuts, but fine. Like, I think that's 30 minutes in.
Honestly, the most ridiculous part about this, Paul Walker could take Tony Jaa in a fight. That's the most ridiculous part of this movie.
Yeah, that's fair. But
it's not the flexing out of a cast. It's not like driving off of like 3 cliffs and surviving without a scratch. It's that.
And of course, that Michelle Rodriguez could whoop Ronda Rousey's ass. Don't forget.
If Michelle's got hands,
Oh, true. You got a point there. She does have a weakness for hands, but this was her at her prime, if I'm not mistaken. When we all ate the Kool-Aid, when we were all drinking the Kool-Aid.
This was pre Holly Holm.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I was like,
pre Holly Holm. This was like Ronda on the cover of Ring magazine, like saying, "Is boxing next?"
I was saying, I know Rousey took a punch here. I was like, oh, this is before WWE. Like, like go figure. But, and I will say, I
imagine fucking Holly Holm credited Furious 7 for like the game plan to how to beat Rousey.
Right? But I did appreciate that Ronda put the arm bar on. That was something I went, you know what? That's like, that was kind of cool. like how in the rundown Rock actually hits the rock bottom, and you go like, okay, that's pretty like. And actually, I think he hits it here actually, or he hit it in So you kind of go like, okay, like they are still acknowledging where they came from.
Yeah.
But the best action bit for me in this movie, we get Dom versus fucking Deckard, and they're fighting each other.
Oh, they both have like dual fucking wrenches.
Yeah,
like it's a sword fight.
Yeah, it turns into a fucking joust. I went, oh, I didn't know. Like, turns into the end of fucking role models. I was like, okay,
it becomes the end. It becomes the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
it's like, fucking Revenge of the Sith. That's what it is. I saw an edit of it with like lightsabers, and nothing changed about that fight scene.
Okay, I need to see this, but I love that though, and it leads to one of the most cheesy but wonderful lines in the whole series. When Dom looks at him and goes, "You know what they say about
street fight?
The streets always win." And he goes ahead and does.
Dude, you got no. You got to. In a street fight, the street always wins.
and does the Juggernaut.
There's gonna come a point where it's fucking stop.
And the whole overpass just collapses and buries Deckard under all this rubble, which should leave him in worse shape than his brother, but nope, he's fine.
Is fine by the next movie. Yep,
totally fine. He should look like Crossbones, but no, totally fine. Everything's good.
It's all
But
good.
Honestly, even Crossbones didn't look that bad.
that's true. But it's great.
I mean,
Oh my
it's also.
god,
I
it's
mean, that was also
beautiful.
Frank Grillo, and how much can you fuck up Frank Grillo?
I mean, true, but it's wonderful though, and even the whole the way that they're going ahead and moving Megan from car to car, I actually thought that was actually really cleverly done as far as how they kind of like rewound stuff. You're like, wait, how did they do that? You go,
Yeah, it's like it's the third act of this movie. It's like a giant game of keep away, and it's fucking
yeah,
awesome.
it really is. I
And
was like,
it's
okay,
again paying tribute to like where the franchise came from, even down to Brian like using the fucking same car he had in the fourth movie.
Mm.
yeah. Which and the ending of this, I would be lying if I said I didn't cry again. I mean, God, like just for watching this last weekend, I was
Yes,
like, son of a bitch.
yeah,
Like,
especially seeing it. I remember seeing this in theaters. I think this was the last movie I saw in the theater before I went to boot camp, and that and
okay,
yeah, that ending. This fucking franchise should not have an ending that emotional,
nope, I agree.
but it still goddamn works.
Yeah.
It does,
Yeah.
and then it goes full Looney Tunes in the next one, which
Yeah, I think a lot of it is because the seventh film is James Wan.
Mm.
And
yes,
with that, these are the kind of movies that Wan's always wanted to make. He's got his like his claim to fame is mostly horror, but really deep down he wants to be the big action blockbuster director. And I think for the most part he's been fairly successful at it. I
yes,
love Furious 7 and I'm kind of so-so on Aquaman. I've revisited it and it's pretty solid.
Mm.
And Fate of the Furious that changes to F. Gary Gray, who I think he understands it visually, but there's something missing with personality that he
Mm.
just doesn't get with this
so it's
franchise.
so it's funny you say that because I actually okay, how do I put this? I gave so it's funny. I went back and I listened to my review that I did on my pod for it, and I gave it a B originally, and that's
Mm.
I'm kind of right there with it. Like I don't hate it. I think it's a good Fast and Furious film, but there is just shit. There is a point where Dom. So first off, when Dom screws over the team, it's a real dick move in the way he does it.
Mhm.
Like he runs Hobbs off the side of the road and gets his ass arrested. I went, wow, you're kind of an asshole. Like
You're a
that was
fucking dick.
like he could have
No,
arrested you.
but it's Vin Diesel, so he can never be wrong.
Yeah,
No,
exactly. Yeah.
Vin wanted to do that though, because he hates The Rock.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they
thank
weren't.
you.
I'm pretty sure they weren't even acting.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that was the
like-
whole point of Fate, was just Vin to get out his aggression towards The Rock.
Yeah, take two. Oh shit. Roll. Keep going. Keep going.
It's like hilarious.
Cut.
It's like hilarious 'cause when I rewatched. It's like hilarious. I rewatched Furious 7 before rewatching Fate,
Mm.
and just that scene of the two of them in the hospital, and you can clearly see that they are obviously not even in the same room together,
Yeah,
and it just goes to a whole nother level here in Fate of the Furious.
Yeah, it's so the thing that really carries this for me, and I know like we've talked about the Shaw brothers and everything. I think Charlize Theron is the best villain this series has had. And now, first off, she is too good for these movies. Let's just get that out of the way. She's way too good
100%.
for these movies.
Yeah.
But goddamn, the malice.
Shit, a check is a check, and she is having fun chewing up the goddamn scenery.
Oh
Which
yeah, but
is of course she's amazing at it because she's Charlize fucking Theron.
exactly. And honestly, the whole kind of sequence, the whole kind of monologue she has about consequences when she shoots Elena, I went, God damn, that's really fucking cold. Like she's
It was
technically
like,
not
damn, that was kind of fucking metal. I did not expect that for a Fast and the Furious movie.
Yeah, I was
And it
actually
kinda
pleasantly
takes you
surprised.
off guard because you don't expect consequences for, like, anything in these movies anymore because we're
And
just, like, so conditioned from, the previous 2.
but also to shoot to shoot your baby mama in front of your child is real. Like, there's a
Mm.
whole other level of wow, that's fucking gold to that shit. And I
That's
went
some
like, okay, girl,
yeah.
like this is pretty. Like, okay. Mature is a bit too strong, but it's darker than I remembered it being. I went,
Mm.
Mm.
okay, there's actually some meat on this. So
Mhm.
so I think one reason why people are kind of, I don't want to say like shitting on it, but one reason why people may not look back on it so fondly is that Furious 7 is more of a fun film.
Mhm.
This is kind of
Mm.
back to similar to the first film where it is taking itself a little bit more seriously as far as the plot's concerned, because
Mhm.
Dom is
Yes,
Dom is screwing them
7, I think,
over.
is
Good.
and it's all okay in the end, where I any other situation, like, "Look, man, I get you did what you had to do, but you didn't have to be such a fucking asshole about it."
Mhm.
Yeah, there is, like, he fucks everyone's car up. There's this one sequence that I actually really like where they all have these kind of like almost these harpoons where they're like attached to Dom's car, and you're kind of, and I'm sitting there watching it going, okay, he's kind of fucked actually.
Mhm.
And the way he gets out of it fucks all their cars up. And even Letty's kind of looking at him like, dude, what the fuck? And Letty, to her, I'm gonna say credit, but I put a question mark next to that because there is a point where I just go, girl, he might just be gone. You might need to accept that
You
because he's fucking them over
yeah.
in just the most dickish ways. And she's like, that's not Dom. And I went, no, it is Dom. DNA would show it's Dom, and we need to take this
That's a
fucker down.
it's a fucking, like, it's like it's like a fucking abusive relationship. It's like, "Girl, get away from"
Just shoot him. Just get it over with.
True. But I do appreciate that near the end
Mm.
where, Hobbs looks her right in the face and goes, look, if I have to take his ass down, I'm not going to hesitate. And like, he looks
Mhm.
her right in the eye and tells her that shit. And she goes, well, if I have to take you down, I went, that's cute. Like your boyfriend couldn't do it.
it's
You
like
or husband, sorry.
Yeah.
it's like, "Girl, your man couldn't take down The Rock. He had to, like, be a punk and use a weapon.
Mhm.
What the
Yeah.
fuck are
And,
you gonna do?"
and let's be honest,
That's,
Michelle, I
like,
like you,
150 pounds lighter than goddamn The Rock.
yeah, like
It's like, that fight'll look like the goddamn Dark Knight Rises.
right. But the thing I think
I
that
would
surprised me
wonder what
the
would break first.
I think the thing that surprises me the most about this movie though is how much to this point this is the most I've liked Tyrese outside of Too
Mm.
Fast Too
Mm,
Furious, because he does add some weight to this. He kind of is almost like the Agent Coulson in this movie because he is the avatar for the audience in the sense
Mhm.
that when shit starts to get
yeah,
insane, he
yeah, much more of the Coulson type the other one to try and replace Paul Walker, Scott Eastwood,
Mhm.
which,
yeah,
yeah,
which
that's an automatic L in the column for me.
and so the way I feel about Bow Wow in Tokyo Drift is how I feel about Scott Eastwood in this. Like, he is just he's that chess club kid trying to go ahead and play basketball. He's never played basketball before. Like, he's so out of his element when he's talking about cars and everything. I'm just like, dude, sit down and let the actual people who
Get the
drive.
fuck out of here.
Yeah,
It's like,
like
bro, get the fuck out of here. And even the fucking writing spectrum, they fucking call him. That's
Wait,
literally
what'd you
what
say?
he's credited in the fucking credits. His
so
character's name is Little Nobody. They don't respect him. We don't fucking respect him.
yeah, it's
He's just there to be shit on by us
Yeah.
he's
and
basically the
everybody in the cast and crew.
he's basically a stepdad. like everybody's just like, we don't respect you. Like, why are you here? Like our home's not broken. Go away. like it's
I had more respect for Will Ferrell in Daddy's Home than I did for Scott Eastwood here.
I really hate both Daddy's Home, so I'll give it to Scott Eastwood by like I'll say a quarter of a mile. But you're welcome. But Roman is constantly giving little nobody shit, and that was one of my favorite parts of the whole movie. Yep, he's just constantly shitting on Scott Eastwood, and that makes me incredibly happy. Even when he has the cool moment of there are no rules and like cracks like all the keys for them to take whatever car they want, I went, yeah, this felt like this was done in post somehow to go ahead and make him seem
like
cool.
it was hard.
Yeah, the complaint in the
It felt like they
editing
really
booth.
wanted Kurt Russell. It felt like they really wanted Kurt Russell to be in those scenes with them.
Yeah,
but
Russell
they had
was
to
too old.
they had to call the stepdad.
Exactly. Yeah, you know,
Scott Eastwood is like the redheaded stepchild of this franchise.
He really is. And can we say though, man,
they could have had a literal block of wood and stand in for Scott Eastwood, and it would make the movie 1,000 better.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Just
but...
Plank from Ed, Edd n Eddy.
Oh, that's
funny.
Sorry, but my hatred of Scott Eastwood notwithstanding, I remember before I revisited this 8th one, I remember this being my least favorite of the Fast and Furious movies. A lot of it was because of I just felt like there was like a lot of heart was missing from it that was in a lot of the latter sequels, which I felt wasn't here. I felt F. Gary Gray, he was kind of a guy who was taking it too seriously, where like 5 all the way through 7, they're like tongue in cheek to a certain extent. All the characters are playing it straight, but all the actors and the characters are playing it straight, but the stunts are straight up Looney Tunes. And here it felt like he wanted us to take everything seriously, which, I mean, come on. Come on.
I would say I'd be in your camp if they didn't if Dom's reason for turning on the team wasn't what it was. I'd be more there with you.
Yeah.
But that's really the linchpin that keeps me from kind of being there with you, because when you find out why, you kind of go, okay, fair enough. Like this, all right, you're kind of in a really shitty spot. Yeah,
he knocked up Elena, which to be fair, it is Elsa Pataki, who is fine as hell.
I never cover my gas tank. I always let my nozzle fly.
But she was the one. She was the one that finally broke him after all these years of all these women throwing themselves at him.
So she doesn't though.
Gal Gadot couldn't do it, so Elsa Pataki could.
Yeah. Well, it's
Gal Gadot walked, so Elsa Pataki could run.
So to be fair, like, she kind of breaks him more because of circumstance, because the moment Letty's back in the picture, Dom's kind of like, what do I do? And it's like, oh, we could have...
And yeah, she's the most understanding character of all time.
Yeah,
easily. So that is my biggest issue with the 8th film, is that Dom just basically goes, oh yeah, baby, we have a kid now. And I'm like, the fuck? Like, what woman would just go, oh, you had a kid with someone else? Fine. Now, to immediately counter myself, she does shoot Dom, and I'd be like, well, you shot me like a year ago. So can we, you shot me, I shot her. So can we just call it even?
Yeah.
Aren't you happy you had me on?
It's like you Yeah, you shot me a year ago.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
even Stevens.
even
Yeah,
Steven.
exactly.
Yeah.
Let's call a kid, right? Like,
Yeah.
but but
Everything's
yeah,
good now.
that's just kind of thrown in there. It's like, oh yeah, we have a kid, and the lady just goes, "All right, cool, let's call him Brian." I went, wait, the fuck?
Which, yeah, that's kind of like where my criticism of the it felt like they're really just grave digging the fuck out of Paul Walker. It was like, Jesus Christ, just let the man rest in peace.
Great choice of words, but,
You're great, Robin.
all right. Right. Are you saying it was a grave mistake? Is that what you're? Is that what
Fuck you.
But it feels
It's
like
very
it does
forced.
feel it feels very exploitive to just go,
Yeah.
oh,
It
his name's Brian.
feels
It's
like
like, uh,
it feels exploitative, and nothing in the fucking movie would be leading to that unless you were gonna say that, yeah, Brian died of cancer, and that was like your way of in world is like, yeah, Brian's dead.
Yeah.
And like have an actual way
yeah,
of addressing the death of Paul Walker in movie. But
And
here it just feels forced because they name drop him constantly and say, "Nah,
yes.
we can't call him." Why? Never mind that.
Yeah, look over there, car. Like, yeah,
they
you're not wrong. And
they gotta
go ahead.
address that in some movie because even in 9, without spoiling too much, they say Brian's name a little bit too much for me.
Okay.
And they're just like, and
Um,
Yeah.
they even like reference that he might still be alive and running around. I'm just like, you gotta find a smarter way to
yeah,
handle
Violin
that. You
have
gotta,
epic score playing every time they like name drop him.
yeah, yeah.
oh, that's okay. That's all right.
Like,
Well,
It was
yeah, you remember
it
that character
was
that Paul Walker
But
played?
yeah, speaking of
Like,
yeah, but yeah, moving on. Speaking of villains joining from previous movies joining the
hmm,
crew, we get Deckard Shaw, the man
hmm.
who
yeah,
murdered Han, joining the
yeah,
goddamn team.
which
And
the way
for some reason, everyone is cool with it.
so
It's like,
that is my
yeah, you
biggest
murdered
complaint.
one of our friends, but we cool.
That's my
I,
biggest complaint about the eighth film is that there is not more tension between the whole team
Hmm.
about that.
I told you guys, this is an
mhm.
anime, okay? We've reached the point of no return. This is just a shonen. Like, they're like, the whole team is just
Mm.
Naruto, just accepting Sasuke back after
Yeah,
murdering half the
but
village.
even at the even at the point where Deckard Shaw has like a fake out death,
Yeah.
it's like meant to be an emotional scene, and The Rock is getting pissed at it.
Mm.
But it's like, motherfucker, you were like chasing this dude around, but you spent like a 10-minute conversation just staring each other down across prison cells, gazing longingly at each other.
So I love that because he goes, "I will beat your ass like a Cherokee drum." I went, "Yeah, fuck yeah, you will, baby. Let's go."
While he's fucking pulling a goddamn prison bench that he ripped out of the wall.
Like the man the Rock is, like, oh my god, like the only I was looking for a urinal because this is the biggest pissing contest maybe in the whole series because their dicks are just out,
They
just
they
like
they stop they stop short of just whipping out cock and
yep.
breaking out a fucking ruler.
I so would you say that Dwayne Johnson was rock hard? Ah, ah.
Fuck. I need a piss and I need a drink. You guys get the car in a second.
Oh my god.
but but that sequence though, that whole prison escape sequence is actually really well done. I went,
Hmm.
okay, like like there was some creativity put into that, and it really is just a big showcase to show, hey, The Rock is really strong. Let watch him basically be Samoan juggernaut, and then oh, look at Deckard Shaw, look at him use his savvy and like the thing that I really love about Statham, pretty much in every action film he's in, his hand to hand is fucking impeccable, and there's this point where he just grabs this guy and basically throws him to another guy, and they both go flying.
Yeah.
And I went, okay, physics be damned, but that's amazing.
Yeah.
But then The Rock headbutts a police officer wearing the helmet, and his head's so big, but he's Samoan, so I actually buy that. I went, you know what? All right, fair play. I won't even question that.
Hey man, that's why they call him The Rock. That head is pure stone.
Right? Just rock a stone. But goddamn though, like that whole prison escape sequence is really fucking well done. I remember going, goddamn, there is some creativity here. And while I know a lot of people shit on the whole sub sequence, the whole bit where Roman is riding the car door, that's a genuinely intense scene and actually puts some weight to it. And I love that Roman gets that moment where he just guns those 5 guys down after being stressed out for 10 minutes. I went,
yeah, still wondering when the fuck did Tyrese become John Wick?
I mean, they weren't far away from him.
All of them.
Oh
I mean, they weren't far. No, he went like boom, 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 boom. Like, I mean, yeah, that as close as they were, he should be able to shoot him. Plus, he's black. He should be able to shoot somebody.
Facts. It's in the genes.
I mean, he didn't put the. Now, if you put the gun sideways, I'd be right there with you. He shot him the right. But
okay, I agree with you. The prison break scene is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
and it's my favorite moment of like, I've been waiting for this. Keep waiting, bitch. And it's just amazing that that The Rock is not a mere mortal. It's like rubber bullets just bounce off of him.
Right.
Which to be fair, he just got done like working out with a goddamn prison bench, so he's got a good pump going on.
Yeah, he had the stat boost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
he had a pump on.
Yeah.
But I love the action beat for me that I just roll my eyes but I laugh is when
is it Baby Foo?
Yeah, when Vin jumps his car and like swings it so that the missile hits the submarine, hits his car. I remember going.
That was the moment where I saw that movie in theaters after like a little operation on my foot, so I may or may not have been alive when I saw it. So I just remember like cackling, laughing like the goddamn Joker when that happened.
And that for me, that's what like moments like that save Fate to me, because like even when it does, like the tone shift is a little bit darker, but it still gets goofy. Like it still knows what it is when it comes to the action scenes and stuff.
It does, but even the Wachowskis directing Speed Racer would go, that's fucking stupid. Like even they would go, like we had cars flipping all over the place.
Let's be fair. The Wachowskis had kind of been like up their own ass for years after the first Matrix.
I mean that's totally fair. I mean they did do Cloud Atlas, so I mean fair play.
They did do Jupiter Ascending.
That's right. They did do Jupiter Ascending. I love my brother C Tates, but even I can't defend Jupiter Ascending. But
I love Charming Potato. But
it's a bad movie.
I can't defend that movie.
But Fate aged better than I thought it would. But I will be the first to admit there are definitely moments where I looked at my partner and I went, okay, movie. I'm like, I can accept a bunch of black people owning metal and weaving everything into it, but even my believability only goes so far.
Should we get into the ninth one, because they threw believability out the window?
Okay, dance around it. I haven't seen it.
No, we're dancing around it. But
okay.
just have
briefly about Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
You gotta include Hobbs and
Hobbs and Shaw.
I gotta watch
Hobbs and Shaw,
Oh,
aka aka the best live action G.I. Joe movie so far.
fuck yeah! I love Hobbs and Shaw. So sorry,
It's
real
like,
quick.
it took the best parts of Fate of the Furious, which for me it was the chemistry with The Rock and Jason Statham, which a little bit, because I know the context of that scene is like, okay, yeah, Deckard Shaw murdered one of the best characters in the franchise, but if I just took the scenes with The Rock and Statham by themselves, they still fucking work. They have great chemistry with each other.
They do.
And in Hobbs and Shaw, it takes that and it adds another wrinkle in Vanessa Kirby, who
I love
one of my
her.
favorite performances last year in Pieces of a Woman. And
Very
she's
underrated film.
holding her own right alongside The Rock.
She's a bad bitch. She's amazing.
Right?
You could argue she's the best female character they've made, like in the franchise. You could legitimately make that argument because
100%.
because
I really want to, and because death means nothing in this franchise, we could just do like Han and Giselle with like Hattie Shaw.
Mm.
Yeah,
and just put that like that Three Musketeers story.
They could totally do
I
that.
think a lot what separates Hobbs and Shaw is the action sequence, because this is directed by David Leitch from John Wick.
Yes,
who's
sir.
one half of the duo from there.
Yep.
And you get a lot of like kind of similar choreography and a lot of that same energy with the fight scenes that is in those films. And it fucking works. Now, it does get ridiculous when you get The Rock like, pulling down a helicopter with a chain.
What do you mean? He can do that.
Which is the most
Definitely
ridiculous
can do
scene
that.
in the whole movie.
So, as I said in my review for
I
that,
know The Rock can do that. I don't know if Luke Hobbs can do that.
So it's as I said in my review, it's like that inspirational moment from Civil War if it was written by an asshole. because when he does it, I just went, dude. Like, so quick story. So my best friend and I, two of my best friends and I, who started my podcast, one of them, my friend Colin, his brother-in-law or one of his brothers-in-laws went and saw Hobbs and Shaw with us. So we went inside an IMAX, made a whole thing of it, smoked a joint in the parking lot beforehand. And so I'm sitting in the middle of the two of them. And Chris, his brother-in-law, whispers over to me. He's like, because he'd never seen one. He went, "This is fucking nuts. Are they all like this?" And I'm like, after the fifth one, basically, and he's like, "Holy shit, this is incredible."
Yeah.
Because when Hobbs is falling out of a building and he's punching Idris Elba, I went, "Yeah, this is perfect. Don't care, not questioning anything." And Idris Elba's fucking super bite.
There is kind of a wrinkle added, because this is the one that introduces superhumans, because Idris Elba is, as he puts it, a black Superman.
Which I love that line.
So with him, it makes sense why Idris Elba wouldn't get hurt by stuff like that. But what is The Rock and Jason Statham's excuse?
I don't care. I don't like.
I know that is a criticism.
They just built differently.
Watching the movie, I don't give a fuck.
Look, and the thing is, look, I get it.
Don't fucking care.
Like, I get it, because even though I was explaining to my friend, I'm like, look, should they explain this? Absolutely. I am by no means saying that you cannot. But
exactly, it's like, should they explain it? Probably. Do I care if they do? Not one fucking bit.
Yeah. Plus, we get Cliff Curtis.
Keep going. I want this franchise to go on forever.
And they've already greenlit a Hobbs and Shaw 2, so we're getting more, thankfully. But there's dumb shit in here, like the last battle takes place in Samoa, and it goes from nighttime to daytime in like 10 minutes. I went, how long has this fight been going on?
They do set up that there's like a storm coming.
But from nighttime to daytime, come on,
dude.
in
in a line that is in a line that is clearly ADR'd.
Oh yeah, but it really does legit go from nighttime to like morning within 10 minutes. I went, oh, so all right, we're just gonna fine, but
I
then
mean, it also gives one of my favorite character actors, Cliff Curtis, some work.
love him.
He
Yeah,
somehow was able
Mm.
to reverse engineer this like insanely modern piece of technology with like blueprints and his AirPods in, which
yeah.
fuck it, I don't care. Let's go.
Which, by the
And
way,
also, I felt like, and with Hobbs and Shaw, you could tell it was definitely a more personal project for The Rock
yes,
because it was able to showcase the Samoan culture. It was like
Mm.
before that big fight at the island at the start of the third act, they do the haka,
which
which to
I
this day, that shit is fucking intimidating.
which I love that they call that back because they do a haka in Furious 7,
Oh,
or
and
8.
Fate of the Furious. It's like
Yeah,
it's set up, but it's like a kids soccer match,
but it
which
was
was amazing.
but it shows, but it's like in it's kind of similar to something like Falcon and Winter Soldier where they pull elements from Anthony Mackie as himself into the character of Sam Wilson. They do a lot of that for Hobbs because something I appreciate is that Hobbs is already a better father than Letty or Dom clearly are because he's actually at his kids' soccer games.
He checks in with his kid.
Yeah.
No matter the time difference, he makes sure to call. He takes an interest in what she does.
Yep.
And he doesn't put the kid in a box.
Yeah.
Whenever they have company.
That too. And the thing is too, like they make a point to say that, oh, you're gonna go stay with your aunt. She knows not to use her phone. Like they make very clear instructions to go, she's out of the game, and he's making sure that he's keeping her safe. Which are Dom and Letty doing that? Not at all. So that's a whole other thing. But I love that
they probably would show that, but the guy that they supposedly left their child with, the actor, is dead. So they can't really show that scene.
Yeah.
True.
But I love that they show that. And I love the way that they show like how different their lives are at the beginning. Like Hobbs is in the gym like real early, Shaw's reading a paper, drinking a pint, like I like the contrast of their styles.
Having a pint, dressed to the nines in a fucking like dope ass suit.
Right. Which I was like, okay, I really like all of this. And then we get to Brixton.
And they 100% did not even tell them that they were filming. They were just showing like the
correct
Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham.
But they even incorporate The Rock's actual cheat day like into this for a very funny bit of comedy
I follow The Rock on Instagram. He's shown like it was like post filming like any movie, that's his like go-to. And they also introduce elements that I did not know I fucking needed for this franchise. Like they introduced cameos by Ryan Reynolds and fucking Kevin Hart.
So that's the most I've liked Kevin Hart.
Know I needed them in this franchise.
It's the most I've liked Kevin Hart in anything in so long. Like I was like, oh wow, you're not pissing me off. Like go figure.
I would agree with you, but I really loved fucking. I thought that was like him at his best because
which movie?
He's like a side. Jumanji.
Okay,
yeah, Jumanji.
Yeah, so I like
both. That was like him and The Rock.
Even the second
one.
And
I really liked the movie he did with Bryan Cranston. And I
really
liked
with
Bryan Cranston.
Give you that.
I can't remember. Yeah,
the Upside. Yeah.
Yep, and it's like he's good in small. He is great in small doses.
He is very much like he's a great nice. He's a good supporting. Like I don't want to see a night school with Kevin Hart, but if he's a part of an ensemble,
oh my god, if
he
I
usually
see another
works.
Fucking night school with Kevin Hart, I will literally fucking like.
And
I will literally start a riot in the fucking Toho cinema. I will become Godzilla.
And I really appreciate the fact that so there's this point where Shaw actually does this really clever trick to make Brixton's uh super bike basically crash into this fucking double decker bus, and you see how pissed off Brixton is that that one little adjustment let them get away, and you just see him go like, oh, now like, oh, you want to play? I went, okay, Brixton, like I appreciate like the vigor and the anger that he's like, oh, you motherfuckers, I'm gonna get you. It now. Admittedly, there's a giant flaw with this secret organization that apparently their AI can't recognize two people coming at him at once, and so it's literal family. Like, I'll take a punch for you, brother. Then you hit him. I'm just like, oh Jesus! like when I saw it in the theater, I was like, really?
But yeah, but I feel like in spite of all the shit that Hobbs and Shaw gets, in that it is just another Dwayne Johnson movie, I don't feel that way. I still
don't
have
either.
so much fun with that movie.
I own it in 4K.
Like, that movie is fucking great.
I bought it on Black Friday last
year,
year, and I was like, "Yep,
player, check this out."
So
if I had a 4K player, I would buy it. But
now, do you think
I do not, and I'm in a country where stuff is like region coded.
Now, do you think Hobbs and Shaw should spawn sort of like a sideline series in terms of just like a Fast and Furious cinematic universe?
So here's the thing: we're getting that regardless of Hobbs and Shaw. Like they've already said that the 11th film they're shooting 10 and 11 back to back. They're gonna do spin-offs. Yeah, so they're gonna do spin-offs. So they've already talked about like an all-female spin-off. They're already doing Hobbs and Shaw 2. Basically, they will go ahead. They'll do what they did with Bad Boys for Life in the sense that they'll set up like the younger crew at some point, and people will be like, "Oh, who are these new kids?" And they'll be like, "Oh, this is the off branch of the family." Like they will keep this shit going for as long as they can.
True. I mean,
they've started. This is the most successful like cinematic universe outside of the MCU. If you really think about that.
So
it's the most successful cinematic universe.
9 films, $6 billion. I looked it up earlier.
20 years, man. 20 years.
Which is absurd.
Well, technically 10 films now.
Oh, 10 films, yeah. But when you think about it, though, how often do we get a completely original idea that spawns a universe like this that's this successful? I mean, so okay, original to a point, but something that's not based on source material. Something that's not based on source material.
It's a new IP. It's a new IP.
Yeah.
Okay, something that's not based on an existing IP.
Now, is it creatively original? That's up for debate, but it's a new IP.
Especially the rocky start. Especially considering the rocky start that this franchise had. It was like the Rocky movie, Tokyo Drift. That was supposed to be like supposed to be the death note of this franchise. It was supposed to go straight to video, and that's where the franchise was headed. But one little side deal with Vin Diesel, and all of a sudden we get this like 10 film series, multiple spin-offs, billions of dollars of income. A fucking like ride at Universal. It's amazing, especially considering that this is like one of the few franchises in where they are casting people of color consistently in major and supporting roles.
Yeah.
Like Roman's not the butler or anything like that. Like there's no Tyler Perryisms.
And they're bringing guys internationally. And they're exposing them to like really mainstream audiences. Like I think if Joe Tatham doesn't do the 6 Fast and Furious, I don't think he ends up going to stuff like Warrior or even Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I wish they'd expose the guys more, but it's one of those.
I mean, I watched Warrior. He's shirtless aplenty.
So I will say too in Hobbs and Shaw, I marked out when Roman Reigns gave the guy a spear in the movie. I was like, that's it. Okay. I was like, cool.
I don't even watch
I
wrestling,
need
and I
to
was
watch this
so
movie.
hyped when that
I need to
Yeah, I
watch
was
this
like,
movie.
okay.
dude, it was like, yeah, Chase, the conversations we've had about like dumb action movies, like the conversation we had about stuff like Boss Level, you'll fucking love Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah,
Which,
like
speaking of, that might be our next Chase. First time Chase hasn't seen shit.
oh, there you go.
So,
But yeah,
shall
Hobbs and Shaw is
shall we
fun.
get to the main event? Shall
All
we
right,
get to the main event?
dance around
So,
it.
We
Dance
will.
around it.
I mean, there's really not
ladies and
much we
gentlemen,
can spoil. I mean, it's like
yeah, ladies
you
and
know what you're
gentlemen, to
getting
our two
into. You
viewers
know
on
what you're
Twitch,
getting into.
thank you for sticking around with us this long. We are finally getting to the coup de grace of today's show. But first, I need another beer because this shit is fucking war.
Day drinking?
Like so.
It's sadly not a Corona; it's a Asahi, but it's the official beer of the Tokyo 2020.
Oh well. Pardon us, God.
I didn't
So
know
I
the
will
stream was
say,
sponsored.
right. So I will say, Fast Nine, just the clips I've seen. So the one thing that really jumped out that I just laughed at, I went, "Oh, that's bad." The CG on that fucking backdrop of Tokyo looks like ass. Like that looks bad. I was like,
Which
"Holy shit!" Like
Oh my god.
which one are you talking about?
The
uh, the
backdrop.
the for Tokyo when they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we're in Tokyo." I'm like, "The fuck you are." That doesn't look like that's a horrible looking. Like,
Actually, if you like go in the like back alleys of Tokyo, I've seen streets that look exactly like that.
I think the CGI looks like it screams green screen to me. I think it looks really bad, especially in the trailers that I saw.
I mean, Tokyo. It's notoriously if you're like a Western production, I, but it looked good enough to me, and I lived.
Yeah, like yeah, that
So take that information as you will.
And I
but
mean,
yeah,
I
that
think that's a good mindset for this movie. You just gotta live with the shit that they do. Because
Exactly.
you want to talk about some Looney Tune stuff.
We are not. We are 9 movies into this goddamn franchise.
yeah,
If I were to make a comparison, this is like the Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows of this franchise. This is a movie made purely for fans, purely for people that have been around since the beginning and watched this goddamn paradigm shift of where
Mhm.
this franchise has gone. If you're
Because
not already on board, get the fuck out.
and
If you're
because
one of those critics that's turning your nose up at this, like, fuck off.
because surprisingly, it ties the entire universe together. I don't know how it did it, but it did. Even there's like callbacks from
It it it's
there's
like it
callbacks from the first
should
movie.
not work.
Yeah.
It There's callbacks going all the way back to the first movie. It
Mhm.
should not work by
Mhm.
any stretch of the imagination, but it does.
Yeah. And
And
even
I think a
though
lot of that is owed to a lot of it is owed to Justin Lin
mm,
returning as the director.
mhm.
Because he's the guy that has like ushered in this like Mission Impossible GI Joe era franchises in, and has been around since the fucking Grounded age with Tokyo.
Yeah, I'd say even though I think, you know, how they introduced John Cena's character, because I think that is the sort of big
Mm.
sort of like plot hole in this entire series. Everybody's wondering like how did Dom run around with this brother that is basically him
Mm.
but better, and nobody knew about him for 20
For
years,
what?
9
Yeah,
movies.
for
um
for
for
what it
what we're
is, it's explained very well.
yeah, I mean, and it's not in my opinion, so how they do it is they sort of tell the flashbacks of their sort of relationship and
Mhm.
how it went south in tandem with the Fast and Furious, like the actual present day movie. Um,
Mm.
and you know, they have I think somebody told me it might have been Vin Diesel's son playing him. I don't know if that's the case. But they had a guy that sort of
I
like
mean,
played like a
for
younger Vin,
me,
and you had the
the
guy sort of
young
playing
yeah,
a younger John
the young actors, they don't yeah, the young actors, they don't look like the grown-up versions of the characters,
at
but
all.
I thought they captured, like they captured it more in the performance
Yeah.
than anything. It was like I could look at the actor on screen who I'm looking up his name now. Um, because young Jacob, who young John Cena, is played by Finn Cole, and
Mhm.
and Vinny Bennett, he plays young Dom Toretto. I thought they don't look like them, but they capture the older versions of the characters in there. I mean, with Vinny Bennett as young Dom, it's not hard. You just gotta like be all stoic.
And
You got to.
that's what saved those flashbacks for me because like
Mm,
Vinny is a lot darker than Vin Diesel. So that threw me off
mm,
at first, but then I realized, the start of the movie, it begins with the flashback of you get to see how Dom's father passes. Once I recognized
mm.
that, because I had just watched the first movie, I rewatched the first
Mm.
movie before watching this. I was just like, wow, like you're bringing it all together now. And
Yeah, you're tying it all together, and you
yeah.
see that the actual incident that
Mhm.
led to Dom being going to jail that
Mhm.
you only heard about in the first movie.
Yeah, and I think they do a pretty solid job, um, sort
Mm.
of paralleling that
And
story between how the brothers went south and why you don't see them ever again, and then also with their current feud today as super spies.
yeah,
With
and also in and also for a franchise whose like main core theme is family,
Mhm.
this is probably the first film since Furious 7 where I actually felt that that was a driving theme of
Yeah.
it. Where I actually felt the bond
Driving.
of family and like this is essentially just like a tale of broken home, of a
Mhm.
broken family. And you hear both sides of like Cena's perspective and Vin's, and you get it. And
And man,
it's an actual emotional scene, and I'm and John Cena, he's fucking good.
yeah,
He's
he's actually
great at some of
trying.
the emotional.
Well, yeah, he's not cutting a promo. That's why he's good. That's
Yeah,
right.
no, he's it's just that Vin can't act at this point in his career.
Oh,
And that's the one
It's
like
weird.
saddest thing about this
It's
film.
sad. It's sad to see that you put Vin Diesel and John Cena in a room
Oh my god.
together, and John Cena looks like the better actor.
Yeah, he's chewing him
oh.
out in every scene that they're in together.
Mm.
Like Vin just looks like
But I
stoned out of
think
his mind in every scene.
He probably was. Like, I mean, does he say "I am
yeah,
Dom"
I
at any point? Or
At least 10 times.
so see, that's what he needs. He needs to start saying those three words. Like have Dom get into a car accident, so he's brain damaged, and he can only say "I am Dom."
no, you just need to literally turn into Groot. It's like I am Groot.
Okay,
Because
what if
like
that's the
And that's
what if that's the ending of the 11th film? Is that we find out that Dom has been in a hospital for like the last 8 films, and because like since the first film when he had that crash, like it's all
it's a
taking place in his brain, like Archer, like
yeah,
he's in a
like
coma.
creepy pasta. Like with the creepy
It's
pasta
like
Pokemon
the
theory.
last like 8 movies have been like the end of Upgrade.
Oh
If
my
they have the
gosh.
balls to do that, holy crap!
That
People
would
would
be
be pissed.
hilarious.
I would cheer.
I
I
would
would give
love
it a
I
that.
standing
will
ovation.
I will I will give a standing ovation. I will like hike up to the goddamn scraper Tokyo with a megaphone and sing the praises of this goddamn franchise if that's the end of the movie.
So okay, since I'm the one who hasn't seen it, I'm just gonna
Mm.
ask about a
Okay.
couple things here.
Mhm.
So it
Space?
looks like so we'll get to space. It looks like Jordana Brewster for like the first time in like 3 movies has a lot more to do. Is that true or
This is the most that she has done in the entire franchise.
really?
This is the
Okay.
first time where Mia is an active character,
Okay.
Yeah.
which even though I liked her character in the first 5 movies where she's the well, in 1 and 4 and 5. This is the first time where I felt like she actually got something to do besides being the guy in the chair, or
It's just
excuse me, lady in the chair.
it's just some decent fight scenes where like she's
Mm.
I mean, I don't want to say they're believable, but like she's using the room around her to fight, which makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
She's using the room around her and she's brawling, which I think
yeah.
fits for that character.
And you know,
It's
it's
And
sloppy.
you
She's
also have
not
the
like
addition of
winning
of
easily. Like
mhm.
it made sense.
well, it's easier to use the room when you're the only one in bed at night, you know.
Fuck you. You know
I
what,
have
Hunter?
shot
This is
at
the
it.
reason I'm drinking on this
Oh
show.
my god.
Yep. Afternoon
But
June listeners, this is the first
so,
time I've ever drank on the show, which
so okay, so you guys kind of brought it up earlier.
Mm,
You said they bring up Brian a lot, but they don't
mhm.
really say shit.
Yeah.
Like, do they just keep alluding to him and then just kind of cutting it off at the pass?
Well,
Like,
apparently he's still alive and just chilling, just babysitting right now. Um,
okay,
I I don't know why because this is literally up his alley. But
right? Like,
but he's babysitting. I
yeah,
guess.
but John Cena's their brother apparently,
Oh yeah, true, true,
so
true,
it's
true, true.
personal for
It's
me.
not it's not his job to get involved in family matters. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Mm,
Right.
oh, did
and
they say
speaking of
that?
like,
Oh,
They don't necessarily say that, but like they just allude that he got stuck at home with the babysitting dude. Oh.
that. I mean, they have millions of dollars. They couldn't pay someone to stay there for a
I
couple
wish
days.
Doesn't Paul Walker have a twin
I
though?
I really wish. Yeah, that's actually how they filmed
Finish
a
Furious
lot of the
7.
scenes in
Hmm.
Furious 7 because he passed away, I think midway through production, but most of his dialogue scenes were done.
Hmm.
So, like for reshoots and for some of the scenes where he's not talking, they used his brothers who looked just like him, and they just like touched up the face with CG. And
Okay.
the corridor, they actually did a couple like breakdowns of the effects on that, where they like spotted the like flaws in the CG where they fixed it up.
Hmm.
But again, that process, if if you do it, you're going into like Peter Cushing in Rogue One territory,
Hmm.
where
True.
it's like
Yeah.
creepy that
Yeah.
you bring him back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Agreed.
and I mean even at the end, because you know they got to have the cookout with the Coronas at the end.
Oh, yeah, of
Mm.
course.
They
I,
He
kind of
says,
just
honest,
they
I
kind of just have his car pull up at the end, and it's just like, oh, like we have that one
whoa,
seat
yeah,
missing.
they got whoa, 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 whoa.
whoa, yeah. Well,
That's not a
spoilers.
spoiler.
Damn.
That's not a spoiler. You knew the cookout
That,
was coming.
I knew the cookout was coming. I didn't know that part at the end. Damn.
Well,
God
my
damn,
bad.
Chase.
My bad.
Easy.
I didn't spoil the good
Easy.
stuff. I didn't spoil the good
No,
stuff.
no, no. Okay, so I'm going to ask one last question about this because
Okay.
I don't want anything else
Okay.
spoiled. All right. When they get to the space shit, were you laughing or were you just
Yes.
like, God damn it? Okay, you were laughing. Okay, that's good.
A bit of both.
Okay.
The entire time, like there, because I think you set up like the two like comedic heartbeats of this film with Tyrese and Luda,
Mhm.
and you see it in the trailer. They're like in the fucking Pontiac Fiero with a rocket engine,
Mhm.
and they have I think in this latter part of the franchise, their chemistry has been like the best part of it. And
Yeah.
Roman and Tej, they have some of my favorite dialogue scenes in this entire movie.
Yeah.
And you just put them in the room together, and it's great.
And
And you bring back some of the crew from Tokyo Drift. You bring back
mhm.
Lucas Black, who I think is not in it a whole lot. He's gotten slightly better as an actor. You bring back Bow Wow,
That's
and you
good.
bring back my personal favorite, Jason Tobin, who was
Yeah.
one of the side characters in Tokyo Drift and is amazing on Warrior, which Chase, watch fucking Warrior. That
I
show's
will.
dope.
I
It's on my
will.
list.
And
It's on my
their back
list.
and forth is fucking great.
Yeah, no, he has a lot more
And
to do in this film,
it's
and he has the better
done
lines out of the three.
and and the way they get to space,
Mhm.
it's dumb, but for this franchise, it's not even close to the dumbest thing it's not
Yeah.
even close to the
Yeah.
stupidest thing in this movie.
And I
That
love the
makes me
back
even
and
happier.
forth. You're gonna love the back and forth because Tej like tries to like logically like explain it, and then Tyrese is on our side as the audience. He's just like, "This is dumb. Like, what are we doing?" It's one of
Okay.
the most self-aware back and
Yeah,
forth I've
this
ever
is the
seen.
most this exactly. Roman Pierce has somehow become the most self-aware character in the entire franchise.
Yeah.
Because there's like a scene early where he's like looking back on all the ridiculous shit they've done, even to at this point in the movie that they've done, and it's like, not a scratch on me. It's like, are we immortal or like invincible? Like, cut the fucking like title card in the edit. Are we and I remember being in the theater yesterday, as soon as I was just like, da, 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 da.
Okay, so last thing I'm gonna ask: is there a mid or
Okay.
post credit scene?
There is a mid-credit scene because, of
Hmm.
course, given away in the trailer, Han is alive.
Mhm.
And the
Okay,
way they explain it in the film, it's believable.
is it okay? All
Which is kind of leads to my criticism of for this franchise, it's believable.
right.
But
Okay.
but it's kind of my criticism of the film that there's not enough Kurt Russell, who's
Mhm.
become one of the best characters in the franchise in the last 2 films, and he's
Mhm.
not in it enough.
Okay. Okay.
But, yeah, with me, just to get to, like, my final thoughts on this, I think the car stunts in this film are some of the best in the whole franchise, but
Okay.
outside of the scenes with Roman and Tej, I think there's just like a little bit of the heart that made this franchise as great as it was, that has given it the fucking shelf life that it has. I feel like Vin Diesel needs to, if he wants this franchise to be great again, he needs to go back to like charismatic Dom. He
Mhm.
needs to like rewatch the
Okay.
first movie and think, Jesus, what was where was I when I made those films and how can I get some of that back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And put aside the beef with The Rock. Put aside the beef with The Rock. If you make that movie together, you're making all the money in the goddamn.
Mhm. Think about the money. Think about the
Yep.
money, Vin. It's
All right,
always
Yeah.
all
been
right,
Did
Chase.
about.
you?
What were your thoughts on the film?
So I do enjoy the film for what it is.
Mm.
But it's just that, when you get to those emotional beats and you see how Yunvin is kind of sort of carrying the emotion much better than actual
Yeah,
Vin Diesel. It's kind of sad because those like there are moments between him and Jacob, who's John Cena's character, that I should feel that Vin is like sort of choked up about. I should feel that Vin is sort of like grappling with like, look, this is my actual family. I've been preaching this whole family thing for 9 movies, and I can't even really like live up to it. Um, because I have this whole thing with my brother.
tec- tec-
Uh,
technically, he's only been preaching it for 7 movies.
but it's just, yeah, I don't know, man. It's fun. The self awareness of
Mm,
it, I think, is it really adds another notch to it that makes it better for me at least than
mm,
Fate. Um, because it gets so silly that it knows it's silly. Um,
mm. It
then
Yeah, unlike Fate of the Furious, this gets silly,
mm,
but it knows that it's being silly.
yeah,
And Justin Lin, who is kind of been the captain of the ship for a majority of the franchise, he
mm.
knows exactly what he's doing when he's going that silly.
And I think it also does a great job of balancing how many characters we've gotten so far.
Mm.
Like even Ramsey has a
Yeah,
car chase scene, which like
yeah,
they do a
every
great job
character
with.
yeah, this franchise, every character is getting something to
Yeah.
and we're getting characters outside of their comfort zone, especially
Hmm.
with Ramsey with oh my god, Natalie Emmanuel. Jesus Christ.
God bless.
God
Amen.
damn Dante Enough. God damn.
Anyway.
Yeah, she
uh
100% is on my freebie list with my girl.
no, I'm
Fair.
gonna let me drink some water.
Uh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
yeah,
cheers.
you're both thirsty, but,
I mean, dude, have you seen Natalie
I know.
Emmanuel?
oh,
Ever
Especially in this
ever
movie.
since Game of Thrones, I knew she was the
more like Game of Bones, am I right? But
Absolutely. uh
Nah, dude, that's the Brazzers parody. We can't use that. That's trademarked
ah,
by
damn it.
Brazzers.
Okay, fair
what do
enough.
you mean? That's just the HBO cut. What are you talking about?
That's so right.
No, the fucking porn parody is literally named.
Oh, really? I didn't think
Yes,
it needed a
That's weird.
parody. I didn't think it needed a parody, to be honest with you.
What is
dude,
it? What is it? What does it say
Anyway,
that
dude,
porn?
you're on the internet. Rule
anyway,
34. There's probably a porn parody of the afternoon tune somewhere.
no comment.
What is it? What does it say that there might be more rape in Game of Thrones than actual porn? Just, just your thought of the day, everyone. Let that. The fact that you have to think about it shows what a problem that is.
You know?
Okay, back to F9. So Chase, given all your thoughts on all your thoughts on the film, what would you rate F9, The Fast Saga?
Hmm. Uh so I don't think it's as good as 7, and 7 I would probably
Mm,
give maybe like a light 8, strong 7 for what it does.
mm,
So maybe
mm,
I'd give it like a 6. Um
mm,
and like a fun 6. Like it knows what it is, it gets in, it gets out. But you know that the attempt at the emotional beats are appreciated, but it's just like, damn, you couldn't get more from than what he gives, you know?
mm.
Um a lot of the stunts are great. I think this is probably the one I was cracking up the most at because just like their go balls to the wall is just like ridiculous, dude. Um,
Exactly. It's like you
they
see
yo,
some of the more ridiculous ones. You
I'll,
see the ridiculous ones in the trailer.
hmm
They
but no, it gets even more
don't even come
ridiculous.
close.
All I'm gonna say is magnets. I love it.
All you can say is like you gotta cut the clip of Aaron Paul's like magnets, bitch.
uh,
Yeah, like so the magnet shit just in the trailer, I was like, God damn! Like, I think I told Nick this in this Facebook group we're in. I said
Mm.
every Fast and Furious film moving forward should start with Vin Diesel walking on screen, burning a physics book, and then it just goes right into because physics haven't mattered since like the fourth one. Like they're just like physics be damned.
Every film needs to start with like Vin Diesel, The Rock, and Jason Statham literally jumping a physics professor.
they're
Why? Like,
superheroes now, man. They're like
yeah.
they just like
It's like gravity, physics.
yeah.
We don't do that here.
Like
Right.
I just saw a character get caught by a car, like, and they're okay. They're perfectly fine. They're like they're
No,
moving on.
this is
Like
a
they're just
franchise. No, this is a franchise where a woman got launched from a tank. A guy jumped from another car,
Yep,
catches
Connor.
her
Yep.
midair, and
Yep.
crashes into another car
And
without
Hell
a
yeah, he
scratch.
does.
and then that
Yep.
same guy proceeds to take the rope from a bridge and then swing his way from one island into the other.
Yeah. So I'll be
Sensational.
real, y'all.
Sensational.
That was something when I saw the trailer. I
Honestly,
That is that trailer.
honestly,
That
in
stunt
theaters,
prepares you for
in
whatever
theaters,
else
it
happens.
works even better.
Yeah.
In theaters, it works better. It's like Hunter. Have you watched The Good Place?
I have. Yeah.
Good Place is awesome.
You remember the clip where Chidi like learns of the timeline and how it's like in the afterlife it's essentially just like Jeremy Baramy,
Mm.
and the
Yeah.
dot on the I is like Tuesdays and
Yeah.
also never. And it's like
Okay.
that broke me. That is what that stunt is. That's
Okay.
the fucking Tarzan swinging across a bridge broke me.
And I love the
Well,
nerve
what-
that they had because they edited an extra cut. I mean, an extra shot where you see the rope kind of like hit the wheel or whatever, and that's supposed to justify
Oh.
that it tied itself
Yeah,
onto
it gets
the
caught
wheel.
on the axle. Yeah, come on, man.
It's not a chain. It's not like anything that would support the weight of a car in real life. It's rope. It is just straight up
Beautiful.
rope that has probably been rotting in the fucking jungle for like 30 years.
And that was when I said this is the greatest movie of all time, even though it's obviously but just for the creativity. I even want to somewhat walk back my 6 because like the emotional beats is what drags this film down.
A 9-year-old. That shit was literally the idea of a 9-year-old kid, and I love it.
Yeah, no. In my opinion, I think, from what I've seen at least, I'd say 9 has maybe the best stunts so far. Granted, have not seen the middle trilogy, and I have not seen Hobbs and Shaw. But compared to 7 and 8, like this is. And this, the stunts and what they come up with is insane. The solutions Vin Diesel has for everything, sensational.
I wonder
Yeah.
how they're gonna incorporate the fucking jungle ride into the fucking Fast and Furious ride at Universal.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well,
Hell yeah.
you definitely know how it ends. It's gonna end with the rope swinging on.
Right.
I'm amazed at because I saw it with a good crowd on the base theater because it's not available in like widespread Japan yet. So I had to like ride an hour and a half to go to the base theater where they play the movies, and I went with a good crowd. We were all like fucking drinking. We were all like talking shit during all the bad shit in the movie, and like when that scene happens, we were all like, "Oh!" Just
So-
yelling like Tarzan.
I am seeing this tomorrow at 4:00. I bought this 20 milligram Rice Krispie treat in preparation for tomorrow because I want to be just high enough to see this in DFX to appreciate it. I'm hyped, and I'm seeing it with 10. I'm seeing it with 9 of my friends tomorrow. I'm hyped. I'm fucking hyped for tomorrow.
That's how you're supposed to see it. That's how you're supposed to
That
see
is
it.
how you should see it.
You
with
pack the
family.
film. You pack the theater up with your family. You're not sober.
Get
No,
yourselves
no.
whatever. Get yourselves your treats of your delight. Get yourself a bucket of Corona.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a
Let's
mark.
go. And
And
to
to
quote
spend
the baby, Let's go.
Yeah, suspend every ounce of belief and like logic, philosophy,
You know,
science,
shit.
physics, everything. Chuck it
You
all
know,
out the
I
window. Does
I
not matter here.
you know I
I do
usually
recommend.
hate movies where like I hate movies where you have to. It's like, yeah, just check your brain at the door. Nah, more often than not, that's just an excuse for shitty writing and for a shitty movie that you like. But
But
here,
yeah,
it feels more genuine.
it
If you're a
knows
fan
it's
of this franchise, you already know that you are 100% on board.
yeah, it knows what
If
it
you
is.
really want to fuck with someone, however, if you really want to fuck with, show somebody the first film
Mm.
and then the ninth movie.
That
If
would be
you
a funny
really wanna
whiplash.
fuck with somebody.
The only connection is the flashback. And there's a ton of callbacks in this film too. And I think also they're setting up for who the big bad is, and I think you'll appreciate who they set up as the big bad for the sequel.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So they do now. Do they?
Yeah, because
Okay. Do they tell you or do they tease it?
They tease it.
it's no spoiler
Okay.
that Charlize Theron is back in this film. She has a
It's
much lesser role here,
okay.
but there are teases that she will become much bigger in the following sequel.
Interesting. Okay.
And you wanna call me out for spoiling.
Charlize Theron's in the fucking trailer,
She is in the
dude.
trailer.
No, but
Yeah.
like, all right, whatever,
She's
whatever,
got the full-on Karen cut.
whatever, whatever,
So
whatever.
so you so last thing
Charlize
I'll say.
Theron
So,
traded up dreadlocks for the Karen cut.
But yeah, she is the end game. She is Thanos.
so 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 when you say turn your brain off at the door, forget all logic.
She has to get the Infinity Nos tanks.
So turn off my brain, forget all
Yeah.
logic. So you want me to pretend I'm watching Tenet? Is that what you're telling me? Or
But like the funny
No,
better
no, no,
version.
no, 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 no. Tenet, Christopher Nolan wants you to take everything
Mm,
100% serious. He wants you
true.
to bear witness to cinema.
mhm.
Yeah.
Justin Lin knows exactly what the fuck he is doing. He's like,
Yeah.
this shit's stupid. You know it. I know it. Let's grab a Corona and have some fun.
Mhm.
There. Well, I'm excited to see it tomorrow.
10
Yeah,
Coronas out
family.
of
Yeah,
10.
my rating, it's I'd say I'm a fan of this franchise. I've managed to see every single one in theaters. Well, in a theater. I would say for me, it's 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 gear shifts. All the
Nice.
criticism I have about this movie are 100% valid. I recognize this is by any like critical sense, this is not a good movie, but it's a fucking blast.
Absolutely.
Fair.
This is 100% a fucking great summer blockbuster that is absolutely meant to be seen in a theater. And if you're vaccinated, go see it.
And if you're not vaccinated, get vaccinated for fuck's sake.
Please.
Hey,
Please. Movies
Yes.
are back.
yeah.
Get
Actually,
vaxxed.
Movies can
fast
be
is
back
back.
if
But
movies
yeah,
can come back if you dumbasses can take a needle in your arm.
Yeah.
Just 1 second.
just
Yeah. If
two. Just two. Just need two.
yeah. If your mom can, if those of you who aren't vaccinated can't take a needle in your arm, you're unlike your mother because she can take a dick in her mouth. Zing.
Oh!
And on that note,
Oh!
we have reached the end of the
On that
show.
note, I think we should get out of here.
Thank you, Hunter.
Hunter,
Yo,
it's
before we
hilarious.
go,
I texted you that yeah, I texted Hunter that yeah, we're gonna try to keep the show under 2 hours and
absolutely no way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
We're barely
A-
keeping
a-
it under 3.
After 30 minutes, I went, "There's no way this is gonna be."
Yeah, no.
So,
But yo, tell the people where they can find you.
oh yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at J Hunter Real Pineapple. You can find my podcast wherever you listen to podcasts at The Real Pineapple. And God, is there anything else? Oh yeah, you can find me on TikTok because I do mini reviews on there at Black
Nice.
Shazam.
Nice.
nice. Yeah, I'm speaking of, I've listened to a couple of the Real Pineapple episodes. He's a great fucking critic.
Bless you.
I
Thank you.
mean,
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
can't tell
one
already,
of the one of the
after 2 hours and
yeah,
50
one of
minutes.
the yeah, yeah, great critic, very funny, very insightful. One of the smartest people I've had the pleasure of meeting thanks to this podcasting community. Chase, where can they find you?
Well, before they find me, they have to find the podcast, The Afternoon Tune, where you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and anywhere you can listen to podcast. That means Spotify, that means Apple Music, that means whatever that other third option that some people use apparently. Um, and of course Anchor. Not SoundCloud though. Not SoundCloud. We don't like SoundCloud. They make you pay to
We don't
post.
fuck with SoundCloud.
Yeah. But yeah, you can find us all there. If you want to watch us live, you can watch us live on Twitch. Yeah, on Afternoon Tune.
Right here
Um,
on Twitch.
where we tend to
You
be
get
live
my
either Friday at around 9 o'clock
like
EST
8 p.m.
or
Yeah, 9 o'clock
Saturday.
EST or 10 or yeah, 9 o'clock EST, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time,
Yeah.
or 10 a.m. Japan Standard Time for you international people.
Yeah. So yeah. If you like listening to us, feel free to check us out on Fridays and or Saturdays. Definitely hit the notifications because you never know. Sometimes we be just showing up sometimes.
Yep,
And if you
on
wanna,
yep,
if you
on Apple, give us a like, give us a 5-star review. That definitely
yeah,
helps. Give us a follow on Spotify, YouTube, like, subscribe, comment,
join the
anything,
family.
because we joined the family.
But if you want to find me
What?
personally, you can find me at Mr. Chase Mac, MrChaysemac, on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Twitch. Did I say Twitch twice? Sure. YouTube. Well, no, not
You did
YouTube.
say Twitch twice.
Whatever. Where can they find you, Nick? And where can they find, most importantly, Bubbles?
All right. Bubbles unfortunately had a doctor's. Mama had to take her on a walk there,
Hmm.
but you can find her at on Instagram at bub.bles0922, and you can find her daddy on Twitter and Instagram at Night and Day Nick. That's the letter night, the word night, excuse me, the letter NDAY Nick.
And of course, all of our links and stuff will be in the description down below. So yeah. Don't forget to always stay tuned.
Stay tuned.